Patch notes, baby.
More ridiculous than I thought. Okay.
It looks great. I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, it makes us look taller. It's intimidating. Now we hold the power in the conversation. So either way, let's dive right into some balance. We have game modes and map type stuff up first, and we're kicking it off with some ranked shenanigans, I guess. So what's going on with that?
Just want to message out the usual ranked reset.
The usual.
His mic's not even working. Ajax's mic isn't even working.
Grandmasters will be reset to 2750 MMR. You know, the usual.
The usual.
Yeah.
So just some ranked switcheronis. So
it will be the last split of the season, though. So, you know, now's your chance. If you got any big moves to make in that ranked leaderboards before the end of the year and before everything gets bigger reset, now's the time.
Yeah, climb that ladder. So also a horrifying reminder that it's November already. So shout out to that. Next up, Duel and Joust having some changes come to kind of both of them. What's going on with those two?
Now, this is a very exciting one. This is one that we've been talking about for a while. So in this next update, Joust and Duel will be switching their maps. So
that's wild.
Joust 3v3 and Ranked Joust 3v3 will be played on the larger Jade Corruption map, and Duel will return to the Season 3's Chinese Joust map.
Ooh, nice.
Including that, there's some extra notes on the patch notes just to confirm that the changes that are intended for Duel are staying on Duel. They're not going with the map. So the item rules that go with Duel are also going to be moving over to the other map and vice versa. So
honestly, at least Duel and Joust have other maps.
Like Joust. No other changes to those rule sets to items or no buffs or nerfs. Just swapping the maps.
Got it. Hey, still super cool.
But that's a very exciting change. It's essentially pretty much 2 new game modes.
Yeah,
for
those
update.
players. Yeah, absolutely
true. So super cool. Adding to that, Arena looks like it's also getting a bit of a visual change. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We are going to be returning to Cthulhu's Arena.
Spooky.
Yes, it's the holidays, and now it's time to give thanks for
the madness,
the great madness in the sky,
Yeah.
And other sorts of deep insanity and horror. But no, that map is just really cool, really pretty. So we're just kind of cycling through some of our arena maps that we have, and we want to make it a kind of a surprise. So who knows when we'll cycle it back again? Maybe we'll change it up. But yeah, that map was really beautiful. We wanted people to get some more time to spend on it.
Yeah, I give thanks for my madness all the time. If it weren't for that, I would not make it. Next up, Conquest, also getting some changes to it, it looks like.
Yeah, couple Conquest changes. We'll go into these in a little more detail later in the show when we talk about some other balance.
Bro, what?
We're first doing one change where we're extending the Invader's Curse a little deeper into the jungle. People were invading so hard that they went all the way
they just
through
nerfed the SPL invades.
until they were outside of the curse again, and then they had to run all the way back through it. That's been extended, so you're going to stay cursed if you try to push through. There was some fringe testing of some green buff invading that we had to go ahead and shut down. Sorry about that, but that's how it goes.
Wow.
And then we also have some very exciting changes here with the red buff holder, the Manticore.
Yeah, Mages be praised.
Yes, yes. We'll talk more about Mages soon, but
they're nerfing the red buff holder.
Max health and the magical protections of that specific buff hold monster.
It's so much squishier.
Clear it by themselves.
They really want Mages to solo that shit. Wow.
Noticeably so.
Cool stuff. Lots of map changes. Not going to stop there, though. Next up, a little bit spicy, I believe.
Ooh, yeah.
Looks like we have some domination talk, huh?
More game modes in
More
this update
game
already?
modes?
Yes,
In
there
this
is. So the domination.
This is the worst game mode Smite's ever had.
First Smite night of the update.
Yep.
This is the worst game mode ever in the history of Smite. It is complete ass.
For those of you who want to play even more domination.
Domination is 3 points. It's a map with 3 points, and you have to capture the points. And then if you have 2 points, your points go. You get points. You go up.
First of all,
you win the game.
XP and gold and player level have been changed from level 3.
They are max volume, bro. This is high res.
To give you more of a jump start.
Max volume. I have my volume max.
Yeah, exactly. Kick it off strong.
Maxed.
Some layout changes. So there's extra paths in the middle of the capture point have been carved out, so you can go more easily from side to side. That middle point is a lot more risky now.
Oh, yeah.
People can attack you from more angles. It's a lot harder to hold, and it's quicker to rotate, which is really nice. Buff camps have been relocated. There's a lot of changes there.
I hated domination back in the day.
Camp spawn, you can get them a little bit more easily while still kind of defending a point, roaming a little bit. Fountains have moved up, so you're a little bit closer to the action, so you don't have to run across that bridge. I believe you still can go on the bridge if you want.
Yeah, if you felt like
it.
But it's just deeper into your own fountain, so that doesn't really do much for you. But it is there. But you'll be respawning a lot closer, so you get back to the action faster.
You see it spawn.
This one's spicy.
Yeah, there's also a completely new mechanic here.
Yes. So this one's pretty big. There's going to be now little portal guards that actually swap sides on each team.
Awesome.
And that allows actually the team to go through a portal to go either on the left side or the right side of the map.
Yeah.
No, these are going to just keep falling. I knew this was going to happen.
Bearing the crown of the gnome child is
Yeah,
hard.
exactly.
No,
I
well,
just got the
first
one
of all,
thing
there's
now.
a portal.
Yeah, so
which
this is
wasn't there before.
a new portal.
Also new.
That allows you to go through that, and you're either going to end up on either the left side or the right side of the map, depending on where the current portal guard is.
Yeah.
And that's going to swap during the match too.
Right. Exactly.
So the cool thing about this is that domination as a game mode, it was, it's kind of chaotic. Everyone, once you've played it enough, you kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah,
where you
this
need
is
to
a
control
regular domination
control the
mode
control
from all
points.
games.
But now with the portals and the portal guards, it lends each team to have their own kind of dedicated side.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of fighting over the middle. That makes sense. That's the contested point. But now whichever side your portal is going to be on, it's kind of like your home point. It makes it's a little bit more logical for teams to kind of keep their home point safe as well as go for the contested points, rather than all 3 points just being contested all the time.
Got it. Okay.
But then it can swap, and it can also be countered if you kill their objective. And then finally, there's a set of changes involving the Sand Guardians, which are effectively the towers.
Yeah.
The objectives that hold each point. There's going to be some better visual feedback there on the pie wheels and timers. The Sand Guardians are not going to capture until a capture point changes ownership, so that makes it a little bit easier to take a point. So it doesn't keep respawning towers. If I kill your tower, then you have to defend a point.
I think they said it's a Smite night and then a custom game mode.
Got it.
Sand Guardians also will not regen. Again,
Ooh,
same
true.
goal there.
You can whittle them down. Yeah.
I don't know why they're breaking down the whole game mode for Smite night.
One team very clearly and strongly captures and defends 2 points and never really loses them, and the game ends.
Yeah, never lets go.
Exactly.
And even if you do take one, it's really hard to catch up. Because they've gotten such a huge lead in the ticket count already. So we did a lot of changes here to encourage the more changing of ownership over each point.
Hey, it's because you don't
so there's
grind.
gonna be a lot more combat,
World,
and
that's why.
just it's a lot more aggressive. So Sand Guardians don't regenerate. The Sand Guardian aggro has been reduced, and the Sand Guardian towers now use Joust AI, which they will not attack enemies outside of the capture point. Which essentially, that again is
this is a whole lot of information they're giving us in like 10 minutes of my life for something most people won't play.
Fair, so. Yeah, quite a few changes in that game mode.
Seems so.
Yeah, shout out to the level design team for really putting some extra love into it for this Smite Night event.
Yeah.
Smite night event and custom game potential. So, bully your
Why
streamer
did they
into
bring
doing it.
back the
Don't do that.
3v3v3?
Yeah, let us
Or do.
Yeah. And let us know how the balance changes go. Like, I'm also, the team's very curious, but I'm super curious if you guys prefer the Portal Guardians, if you guys like the way the map has changed now.
If you're doing competitive domination in-houses, let someone know so we can come in there and check them out. Yeah.
Hype it up, yeah,
Or at
for
least
sure.
record it, make a video out of it. We want to see how it goes.
Ranked domination win,
Ping me on Twitter. It'll be good.
Please
I'll watch it. All right, cool. So next up, that's kind of it for the map balances, which it was a lot. I mean, we're always doing a lot. If you ever wondered, these are this weighs 15 pounds. But next up, we're going to move into some balance changes, like the general balance changes, but we're doing it a little bit differently, which I'll let AJ explain for the finer part here in a second. But essentially what we're doing is we're going to hit things a little high level and change the flow of the show a little bit, As we continue to grow, we want to get y'all the information in a more digestible manner, and we think we found a cool way to do it. Obviously, we'll be looking for y'all's feedback, but I'll let AJ do the explaining because he obviously knows what's going on more. So AJ, what's the new flow?
Yeah, and those of you who are following along the patch notes, you'll notice that they're also in a different order, different style. This is meant just to give us a little bit different way of communicating about each patch, each individual balance change. Really, these balance changes tend to be part of larger goals that all work together.
Yeah.
But we would write these little blurbs about each individual change, but they would end up feeling really repetitive sometimes, or things would be all scattered around. So you would read a change about hunters, then you'd read like 7 other changes.
I love Isaiah the patch notes compared to this.
Felt a little awkward. So really, we're not trying to say any more or any less. We're just trying to do it a little bit differently. So the patch notes are in a different order. Therefore, the show will be. Please let us know how you feel about it, and we'll be happy to adjust. It was our first attempt at a big change like this, so there's going to be some iteration. There's going to be some adjustments. So the way we're going to do this today, instead of alphabetically or going from items or gods or whatever, is we're going to talk a specific balance goal, and then we're going to talk about all the changes that are in this update that fit that goal.
Got it.
Now, some changes will be mentioned in more than one place, and some goals even can contribute to other goals.
Yeah.
So, just to show a little bit more of the complexity that goes into all of this thought.
This reminds me of how teachers teach.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
I'm bored before they even start.
But before we jump right into that, I do have one more quick section just to comment on a little bit of the balance team reflecting on 9.5 and how things have changed since then, There's a lot of discussion in the community about it. We still see it pretty much every patch. So we kind of wanted to just talk about it a little bit here right now. So
Floor is yours.
the thing
Yeah,
is,
meant to notice
the
it.
first thing is we want to acknowledge
How
that
far away are these
there's
patch notes?
2 groups of players, right?
happening?
One group gets really worried about every
stop.
buff because they loved the 9.5 update,
Yes.
and they think that made the game feel so much better.
Yeah.
And when they see new buffs, they get worried that every buff is going to undo all this hard work.
And a quick recap as well. The 9.5 update, we're talking about the time to
time
kill
to kill,
changes,
yeah.
where health and scaling across the board, increased level. Everyone got a little bit tankier, just for context sake.
Right, and most importantly, that change was a 40% base protections change to the early game. So it was a little bit more early game. But there's also a group of players who they didn't really feel like they needed 9.5. They knew the game was high kills at that time, but they liked it like that. They could position themselves. They felt like they could avoid it. So they've been continually asking for early aggression. Really, I think what's important is that we really met our goals for 9.5. Number one, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to specifically make the early game of Smite less punishing. And we did succeed at that quite handily. The amount of early surrenders dropped by like 33%.
Wow, that's
The amount of
huge.
total kills in a match didn't actually drop that much at all.
Which is good.
But most
Yeah.
of them got shifted into the mid and late game, right? That was really good. But those changes were pretty intense because we really wanted to make sure that early game.
Just give us the
hit what we
information.
wanted
and
players
tell
to
us
feel
after.
Which
Right,
one
we
could
wanted
offend
people
people?
to
Not
feel it,
listen.
and we wanted to meet our goal. So, but realistically, somewhere in between is actually probably the right place to be.
Yeah.
So both of these groups of players are really valid in their concerns, right?
Absolutely.
The players who want more aggression, we have been delivering that little bit by bit. A good amount of that has been actually in the Conquest map.
Yeah.
As opposed to the items or the gods doing more damage, especially in the early game.
Yeah.
Those of you who are worried about every buff, I just want to reassure you that even a big buff like 40 base damage and some scaling to Thor is still not nearly as much as 40% base protections was to every single god. We're still in a much more forgiving early game of Smite. Even after all the buffs we've done this year, all the changes, still significantly harder to die in those first few levels than it was before.
Yeah.
So overall, that's the way we're going to keep going, right? We're going to keep exploring this middle ground. There's going to be a lot of buffs today.
What's happening?
Some of which are going to buff the early game for classes that need it or items that really need it, that
Yeah.
feel like they're falling behind. That doesn't mean it's undoing 9.5. It's just focusing on specific
Oh, this is like a really
character
bad
types that need it.
podcast.
Right. We're also going to keep looking at the late game where it does still feel
This is a tough watch.
because we didn't really adjust that
Yeah.
much.
Right.
So there's going to be some late game changes. Those are other things we'll continue looking into. And of course, as we come to the end of the year, we have a lot of really big changes. So if something really big or spicy doesn't make it into these last few updates of the year, there's always the beginning of next year where we can really do something big.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Well, that's
think
good
that
information to
covers
know. Yeah. So from there,
Okay,
we
we're
move
good.
into this new
Let's
balance
go.
section.
Let's
This interesting new
go.
take on things, and as was mentioned, some items might be mentioned twice, but again, things can contribute to
Just
different roles.
read the
Nerfing
patch
something
notes.
could help one class and damage another class. It could be
Stop
so
talking.
It's all very connected.
it's all very connected, and we're hoping to pass on kind of how our thought process works for that. Starting with some Mage early game buffs, it
God.
looks like. So what's
This is
happening?
the biggest aspect of the patch today. So
Read
Mage
them!
early game buffs. We've seen in the SPL, Hunters taking
Oh
over mid lane quite a
my
bit.
God!
We've seen a lot of talk about Mages not being viable. This tends to be discussed more at high level play
Yeah.
than at low level play. A lot
This
of,
can't be real
even
life!
in ranked and normal modes, Mages do a little bit better. So a lot of these changes are focusing specifically
Shut the fuck
on that
up! I love you, Ajax, but
concern of Mages
please!
not getting picked up there, which a lot
Yeah.
of players have
Just
also
start reading the paper!
understood and has translated down to other.
Yeah, it's
Right,
echoed through the
and it's
community.
things that we've
I'm
talked
gonna
about in
lose
previous
my fucking
patches.
mind, bro.
Itemization has changed a little bit at a time, but we're addressing it a little bit more wholesale here.
So in the Mage early game buffs,
Okay.
we're going to have quite a lot of stuff here. We're going to have the red buff, Conquest change, of course, contributes to it. We're going to be nerfing mid lane Hunters, as well as some other late game burst damage to help with Mage early game burst damage. There's a little bit of a shift there. We also have some rework, almost a stat rework to Vamp Shroud and its upgrades. We have a bunch
They're like,
of underperforming
just
mages
read
getting
them
buffed.
one by
We have
one.
A couple other mage items being buffed, specifically through cost.
Why
I
are
think
you
we got
giving us a
on earlier.
rundown of this?
So, a lot of changes here. We're going to go through them now, one at a time. But it's going to be a little bit more free-flowing as we go. This is our first time doing this too. You know? So
the fucking patch
you are
notes.
confused, keep an eye on the screen because the changes are going to be coming up here soon.
Yeah.
And also, you can have the patch notes pulled up, which is all sorted into each section already, ready to go, and nice in order for you. But first up, spoiler alert, we've are announcing in this section that there's going to be mid-hunter nerfs and late-game nerfs
Right.
Ooh.
coming.
On the way.
But first, we've got to talk about mages. So, Conquest, we talked about the red buff. That's probably a lot of
you said the
people
red
feel
buff
like that's gonna be a big
6
change too.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
That's the only
desirable.
thing you've
Absolutely.
told us.
Yeah,
And,
which is crazy.
another reason why we were talking about the interconnectivity between all these changes, the hunter nerfs, and the mages being helped out by the manticore. We specifically are targeting not just their health, but their magical protections, right?
Right.
Specifically a mage-oriented
Is this
change.
real?
Got it.
So then the first item change to go over now is the Bancroft's Claw nerf. Now we listed this one first because we're going nerfs and buffs and then items and gods in that order, but we're going to buff a whole bunch of mage stuff. We got to nerf the best thing.
They're
Yeah,
nerfing the
right.
shield,
Gotta
the
bring it
We
glaive.
don't
on.
just want to over
All
buff
right.
mages across the board. So there are some
right.
nerfs across this patch. There are some more shifts, which we've been seeing feedback from the community before. They
We
didn't
got
like
one, boys.
us
We got
holding
one.
every nerf for the bonus. If something needs a nerf, let's go ahead and get it done
Give
now.
it the nerf.
No reason to wait. So a lot of the mages that are performing the best right now, especially at other skill levels, are the bruisery, self-healing type of mages. It's
Got
like,
it.
this is the pinnacle of Hades, Zhongqi, Chang'e, Baron. Those gods are absolutely annihilating.
Yeah, they're shining.
Most of the scene in ranked and normal mode. In SPL,
This is
we're
about
seeing
the
a couple
longest
ones like,
patch notes we've ever
Hades.
fucking
Hades
had.
is in the SPL,
Yeah,
probably
crazy.
doing a little bit too well.
And there's a Hades nerf coming up here too, but this is the first part of the Hades.
This
nerf
is them
effect.
hitting all
Right,
the guys that just
exactly.
got crazy buff from mages.
But then we've got to move on
Hades.
to the specific buffs we need for our
Like
mages.
Soul,
This
even though
one's
Soul's
being
not
pretty
really
big
great.
here. The Sands of Time getting increased true damage on minions from 10 to 15.
Yeah.
That's going to help every single mage in the
Sands
game
of Times
clear their
clear?
minions better in the early game.
What are they going to
Yeah.
do to
That's
the
number one thing
conduit
people were
gem?
saying is what is holding them back from.
That's
being able to
basically
use it.
the same as conduit gem now without
So that'll be a
conduit.
big one.
Yeah,
With
lots of that going
cooldown.
on.
Let's see. We have a whole lot of other changes that I'm going to move ahead to the Vampiric Shroud.
Scylla's going to be better now,
Yeah,
by
that's
the
a
way.
big one too, because it's
Yes.
almost a stat rework, right?
It's pretty
pretty
much
heavy.
a rework. We wanted to be careful calling it a rework because
Yeah.
we know there's a lot of specific expectations that come with reworks, but it is effectively a stat-based rework. So Vamp Shroud was kind of a bruiser item,
Right,
Vamp Shroud's
but
ass.
that had been really absorbed by the
What
solo
are they going
lane.
to do to it?
Yeah.
Make it a
And if we
jungle
tried to
item.
buff it at all, the solo lane guardians would just run
They
wild.
would never
with
do
it.
that.
So we
They fucking hate
crazy.
us.
organized it to be more of a full power lifesteal starter for mages.
Got it.
So if you really want to start something with some lifesteal,
Ooh, Anubis
and power,
buff, Hades
this is gonna
buff?
be your item to go. You're going to want to go Vamp Shroud for increased magical power, removing the physical protections and the health, but increasing the lifesteal and adding that MP5 to help you stay.
Yeah, but it has no
keep your mana up.
buff clear,
Much
right?
more
No
aggressive,
bonus
though.
All
clear?
that
Much
sustain.
more. Much more.
None of the minion extra
And
damage?
because of these changes, the upgrades, the Sacrificial Shroud and the Blood-Soaked Shroud, had to also be adjusted as well. The Sacrificial Shroud being the much more aggressive one. That's the high power, high lifesteal, and that's the one
it
that
not do
actually,
damage anymore to you?
hurts you.
Does it still
in
hurt
order
you?
to let you deal more damage.
It will be
Oh, it's still-
maintaining, in fact,
does
increasing
it?
the physical
Okay.
protection. So that's where the shift is going to be for Sacrificial Shroud. But for Blood-Soaked Shroud as the alternate, we will still be removing entirely the physical protections and actually increasing the health for that one. So there's a trade-off for those
Right,
two.
so they're both going to be a little bit higher power than before, or, I mean, around the same. Well, we're buffing one. One's going to have more procs,
Patch
one's going to have more health.
Yeah, it's a lot of stat changes for that for sure, and crazy for that's basically
Zhonggui's
like you
gonna
said,
be
it's a
tanky
soft
as
rework
fuck.
to the stats, which is an incredibly big change for the
Late
item.
game.
This can have some really big changes. And although we don't see Vamp Shroud in the mid
was
lane
that?
that much right now, we might with
Yeah,
these changes.
this could be this could push it
Sands
over
of
the
Time
edge.
is going to be bonkers, and that's going to help mages a lot too. But we wanted to make sure we gave them more options instead of just leaning entirely and saying, okay, mages are just going to build sands for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's
We
a
wanted
lot
to
of
give them some
health.
more options. Conduit Gem is still mostly been stolen by solo lane guardians as well.
Right.
So we had to be careful about buffing that one because we didn't want to overbuff that one.
Yep.
Of course,
Between
yeah.
Conduit Gem and Tainted
On my
Steel,
mouse.
there's options for the bruisers in the soul lane.
Nothing
And if they
popped
want
up.
to go Vamp Shroud, that still could be possible, especially
be.
with the power. But they're not going to be getting any of the tanky benefits
my
that
mouse
the
went to
Warriors
sleep.
Axe or something else could provide instead.
They'll have to watch their trades.
Yeah,
for
my
sure.
mouse went
So
to
next
sleep.
up with some standard tier 3 item buffs for our mages, we
That's
have
what my
Soul
mouse
Gem,
is asleep.
decreasing the stacks required to trigger the passive, which is a spicy buff.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're going to be able to do the burst damage trigger off of this a
Oh,
lot
Soul
easier
Gem
now.
got
a little
a...
bit more healing
There
there.
was
That's
always
actually
a
cracked.
specific gods we always felt like were limited because you had to really be able to do use enough abilities to get this trigger, and I feel like reducing this is going to open it up.
Did
to
you
a
get my
lot
voice
more
back?
mages, which is
I
really
think
nice.
if you go into the
but
code
also
thing in
decreasing
game
the
and
cost of
type
Chronos
Smite in caps and then W in caps
Very
and then
popular item
weekend.
at,
So Smite
casual
weekend with
tier.
the caps in the
Not one we
beginning.
had seen too often in pros, but
Yeah,
You'll get
and
it.
a lot of the discussion about mages being a little bit underpowered came with how So buffing their early game.
All
just
these
giving it
mage
more
changes
damage, giving it
really
more
only
clear, but also
affect
how
a
long it takes you to
specific
get
set of
online.
gods.
Right,
So
exactly.
we're trying to address that a little bit today as well.
Because if we are seeing mages right now, we're seeing a lot of these almost single or double stacking
big.
items, right? Mages could be okay, even currently, but if they're opting into Warlock Staff or Book of Thoth or sometimes both, their power
think
curve
this would
just
be a big
doesn't
patch.
really accelerate them enough to compete with hunters. But now
patch
we
is
just want to
huge
bring in
compared
some
to
of these
what I was
early game
expecting.
options. Maybe it'll be after one stacking item, or maybe it'll be the first one right after their starter item, but just trying to align the power curve a little bit better.
Sounds good.
That's it for items. Now moving on to gods.
Yeah,
we
we
have
have the
quite
gods.
a few.
Wait, that's
gods
all the.
getting
Oh no,
buffed.
these are the mage only changes,
Agni
right?
is getting some buffs to his base damage on Flame Wave and Rain of Fire. Important to note that a lot of these characters are going to be similar changes as you might have seen in 9.4,
Okay.
but being reverted.
All right.
One of
Bringing
the
it
things
back.
we did before 9.5 was test nerfing a lot of gods across many different specific elements.
Yeah.
And what we noticed was that had some impact, but it was a little bit smaller than what the
Right.
player base at the time was really communicating to us. So 9.5 came through and made a much larger
Yeah,
impact
we
than
swung
any
the
of these
hammer for
changes
that
did. So a lot of these gods are now really struggling in the post
Holy
9.5
fuck.
world. So doing our best to bring
30
back
base
a few more
damage on the
mages,
two?
especially with the goal of just
Each
getting
bomb
into
is
the
getting
mid lane
20
and
more
skill,
base
as well as
damage?
making a lot more viable mages in the mid lane. So opening up that god pool to be a lot more options.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which would be really exciting to see.
I agree.
I think Agni's going to come back big time with this one, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some
Agni's
Agni plays,
already
honestly,
good.
So like, make it happen. Let's bring it back.
Next up, we have a very spicy change for Anubis.
Anubis.
Yeah, this one's good.
Yeah, so
what is
Plague of
this?
Locusts seeing a really big cooldown decrease.
Ooh,
Which
more
the thing was,
bugs.
this ability is really good at
Oh,
clearing the wave
okay.
and dealing damage, but it's also very risky. He often has to cancel
This
it.
is
really
like
quickly and doesn't
super
really get that
enhancing
max
Anubis'
benefit for
early
it.
game.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how come Anubis can't be good even when there's pressure so valued? It's like, well, it's
Wait,
too
Anubis
risky.
could
Anubis
go
doesn't stand there, and if you have
starter,
to cancel it, then
lifesteal.
you just can't do anything for a long
Yeah,
time.
you're on
Chronos.
cooldown. Yeah.
Decreasing that cooldown here will give Anubis a lot more chance
And
to keep
then
that pressure
fucking,
up and keep the clearing
what's
rate.
it called?
And even if you are maxing your
Titans,
3, if you
and
feel like
have
you
enough
need that,
lifesteal.
against someone else that can poke you up because your one's going to put you in a very specific spot. At least if you're going to be using that Plague of Locusts,
wonder
with
if
that
people are gonna
heavily
fuck with
reduced cooldown in
Anubis'
the
shit.
early game, you can then maybe use it either twice in wave or maybe when you're rotating into the jungle.
Maybe
Yeah.
he juggles
It gives you
too.
it gives you that flexibility.
Ooh.
I mean,
Bussy.
with Vamp Shroud as well, Anubis stocks are high.
Yeah. Discordia coming up next with just a simple base damage buff to her
Yeah.
AO1, her unruly magic, her core lane damage.
They're
and
buffing
poke
Disco.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's been on the lower end.
That's her
and,
2, right?
This is a small change, but it might be enough to bring her back along with the other items.
A little more chaos in the battleground. All for it.
Hera. Hera's a
Ooh.
big
Is there
one.
one?
Hera's a big
We
one.
haven't seen her as much lately.
No.
It's been a little while.
It's been a minute. But yeah, so what's happening with her? It looks like a couple things actually. 2 different abilities.
Yeah, so the Royal Assault is actually increasing the range on specifically the deployable hand component of this attack.
Okay.
Here's one of those mages where she's got a little bit of that like long range poke with polymorph, even with
Yeah.
the Royal Assaults. But you have to really
Okay.
position yourself in the wave at a
I
specific
don't know why
part
they're
of it,
buffing Hera.
and able to hit the entire wave with the ability. And you're still going to need to do that
That's all
here
right,
too.
Basilisk.
But it's going to give her poke either in wave or even in team fights a little bit of
Thank
that
you all for
extra
the
range.
resubs,
That's kind
by
of
the
what
way.
she needs to be
Yeah.
a bit more flexible.
Right.
Divine Shroud as well is something that we saw previously kind of spike her in terms of how well she can do.
Yeah.
And we've had to nerf it since then. So here we're going to be increasing the base HP. It's not by a lot, and
Yeah,
it's
just
specifically
little tweaks.
not
Late
at
game.
the early game.
You got to
So
rank it
they're
up.
buffing
It's
the shield
hitting
for
the
late
mid to
game.
late game where she's going to be a little bit more survivable, something that she kind of struggles with especially without Argus.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
crypt-
That range, increased range on like a core damage ability. That's a big buff.
Yeah.
That is.
That'll
yeah.
be interesting.
It's one of those things
That
where it
one
seems so
change is
simple
so
when you
minor,
think about
but it
it,
might
but yeah,
actually
it
be
really
huge quality of
that can
life.
help your positioning, that can help your farm, that can help your poke. It touches all aspects of the game, so that'll be really spicy to see in game for sure.
Exactly.
So, looks like next up on the list we have Nuwall also getting a buff. Her fog is a little more angry now.
Yep, decreased cooldown.
Say angry?
Angry. I mean, when it passes, I'm like walking and she pops out of it and hits me.
I
I'm
think
angry.
they're
So
Absolutely.
Decreased
Or
cooldown,
lowering
that's
all the
gonna help her
cooldowns so
clear.
people will
Also
fight more.
gonna
Yeah.
help her team utility, right? That stealth is pretty strong.
it is pretty strong.
And I'm honestly not sure how I
Scylla
feel about
up
this.
next.
Because this is just
Ooh, another
mages.
scary thing. Scylla with crush.
Well, we were very careful with this one.
Very okay. How
Yes,
careful?
we know Scylla can be
What?
volatile, but
Good word.
she does struggle in the early game lane clear because she only has one AOE ability really.
Yeah.
Right.
So we
Wait,
went ahead and looked at Crush
what?
specifically. We through mid-season and
This
some
seems
work with
huge.
aggro
This seems
on the
massively
design
over the
team,
top.
Some new features around giving gods specifically more minion damage in specific places. This
Yeah.
is a very logical place to put it. If we buff just crush base damage,
there's
then
no
everyone's getting
way
blown up again. That's
that
not
still
what we
is
want to do. We just
not
talked about
gonna be
that
meta in mid.
True.
But we do want to help her clear in the early game, so now she's going to get a little extra bonus damage on that crush.
There's
Awesome.
literally no
Or
way
you
she's
just
not
build all
meta.
4
in mid.
rings blindly and auto attack everything. I mean, just an opinion. Next up, Zeus getting
World's
some,
about to be
some changes.
nuts.
So another talking
Scylla
about aggro,
and
some
Thor
Zeus
possibly
getting a
meta?
little
Yeah,
love.
I feel like
Somewhere he's cheering, watching the show.
He's at home clapping right now.
I feel like it wasn't too long ago when we were saying the exact same
That's
thing,
a
but in
lot bigger
reverse.
than I
Like,
thought it
oh, Zeus hits. You know,
Well, that's because if people already forgot, Zeus was like the best god in the game for a few months.
Exactly.
This year.
Yep.
But yeah,
you know,
some,
maybe it was a little bit too far, and we're going to get mostly a little bit of reverts in terms of the damage nerfs that he's had. So Chain Lightning, increasing the base damage, Detonate Charge, also increasing the base damage. It's not going to be by a lot. We don't want to bring Zeus back to those incredibly high glory
right to
days.
the top again.
But just a little bit of
And
love.
all these item changes also compounding a lot of these mage changes, so we're being a little bit careful here. So because we have to be careful with the buffs, because the item buffs compound those, that also means we have to be especially heavy with the nerfs.
Yeah.
Because if we're trying to nerf a mage right now and all their items just got buffed, it's not even a nerf unless we make sure we overcorrect that.
Yeah.
So therefore, the Morgan is dead.
Bye,
All right, yeah. I mean, so
Rest in peace.
So
Morgan
see you next
players.
year.
we were talking about the SPL. We're talking about high level competitive play as well as high level ranked and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Mages are generally not doing so well. We talked about that. There is maybe a few of them that are doing particularly strong,
Right.
and the Morgan is one of those. So like AJ said, with the compounding buffs that mages are getting, some of the top hitting mages need to be nerfed.
She's still going to get played. You know she will.
Oh,
but this
yeah.
is a very heavy nerf just to make sure that we open up the field for more
They
mages
nerfed
and
the
make sure she's
fuck
active.
out of Morgan
She's gonna
clear.
get decreased damage to minions on her ability 1, as well as decreased magical power scaling. She's going to do decreased base damage to all targets. That's
She used to be the
that's
best
initial
clearing
and
mage,
bonus
and like that
to
was what
gods
made
and
her work
minions.
so well
It's
because she
gonna
could be
decreased on
hyper
her ability to
aggressive
Dark Omen, her line
by
attack,
herself
as
with a
well as
really
her
low cooldown
ultimate
kit.
cooldown is going to be increased as it ranks down. Now that will that does have the cooldown clause where
I bet you.
Yeah.
the ability you turn.
I don't know, actually. I bet you she's not dead, but that's a lot of clear that she's gonna
find some
lose and
target
still
where
is
you can
gaining it.
alt more as Morgan. We're still
Yo,
going to be
Tata
slowing that down.
Yeah,
Suyu
right.
is now
That's a
gone,
very
boys.
powerful effect, obviously.
Well, cool.
So
I believe
is-
that's the end of the mage buffs though, right there, isn't it? So that's
Maybe the
that was a lot of
assassin
stuff.
buff.
Nerfing
Wait,
it too. I must have put him in
they
another
increased the
section.
cooldown on her
Well, I guess
ult?
we'll get there to that. We'll have to find that later down. Again, there are so many things we have to go over.
This
Give me
this is a really big-
assassins.
This is a really big update.
Yeah.
We really wanted
If
to
they
deliver.
nerf speed
I know a lot
or
of
something, I'm
times
punching a
people think
monitor
that
or
we
a
wanna
mouse
be
is going through a
really
wall or something.
scared and careful towards the end of the year, but we're not there yet. We still got a couple more bonuses, a whole other main update
Yeah, we're
before
fine.
SWC. We wanted to make sure we had a lot of fun and spicy stuff in here.
And we know the players have been clamoring and making sure that they wanted to see a lot of changes coming into the game, so we weren't going to hesitate on that.
Yeah, if the players want it, then we're swinging for the fences every time.
All right, bringing us to our next section, the mid hunters. That's one of the reasons that mages are being poked out. is
Mid hunters
mid
only?
hunters. You need to go.
How are
the
they
next
gonna do
page,
that?
maybe, or did I skip?
Yeah, I was just like, wait,
I think
did
you skipped. I think we have late game
we're on-
burst damage.
We're
nerfed
on
first.
12.
Oh, you're right. My bad. My bad. My bad.
See, we're learning how to do this. It's a work in progress.
Late game burst comes
Damage.
up next.
Yeah, getting a little nerfed up.
So we buffed a lot of mage early game,
Yes.
and we want to be careful via the 9-5 discussion that we're not over buffing uniformly.
Yeah.
So this is actually a shift. We're getting some buffs in the early game, but that's going to actually lead us to want to do some nerfs in the late game.
Okay.
And it's not just going to affect mages. We're also going to be looking at assassins and mid hunters for these nerfs. So that
got it.
includes a Titan's Bane nerf, an Obsidian Shard nerf, and a Staff of Mirrodin nerf.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. I
So
mean,
those 3 nerfs cover quite a bit of classes.
Yeah, they sure do.
combined.
And we want to be careful as well, because I feel like every time we go, there's going to be a nerf to the late game. I feel like immediately Twitch chat might already be saying, like, Warriors and Guardians tank meta, what's going on? These nerfs are applicable, and they're hitting those hard-hitting items, but they're not massive, right? It's not like their
Yeah.
percentage pen is being changed or gutted or anything right now.
Right. So,
It's
right.
cost changes and power for both the 2 main ones, Titan's Bane and Obsidian Shard.
Which those 2 we usually keep pretty tight together when we make balance
Right.
changes. too.
Yeah.
So
Kinda
both
hand
going to
in
get a bit
hand.
more expensive. Both going to get a little bit more less power. And then Staff of Mirrodin is also going to see a decreased damage buff from the passive. The
Yeah,
specific
okay.
passive effect. The mages that can use that very well, it hits hard.
Yeah,
and
it
it
sure
really
does.
blows people up in the late game. So we're taking a 5% off of that.
Yeah, just to try to keep from things blowing
feel
up.
like all these
right,
items
cool.
are still
It looks
gonna
like
be
now
okay.
we get
Now
to
we
move
can
into
talk
those
about
mid
warriors,
hunter nerfs
right?
you were getting
Everybody's
onto.
been wanting these ones, so
Yeah.
I got to make sure we
Changes
do that
were
right.
Get into it.
very,
We've
very
been-
minor.
Obviously, talking about mages, mid hunters pushing out mages.
Yeah.
We are seeing a bit of just traditional hunters going traditional build and,
Yep.
and standard ADC in the mid lane still. But all of those mage buffs we did already should help combat that.
Yeah.
Now, we
Bring
did
them
want to
back.
additionally nerf this mages, the mids that are specifically a couple items and gods that are in this zone, right? And that's going to
if they
include Crusher
fucking hit
nerf,
maces?
Titan's Bane nerf, and a Muzen Cobb nerf.
Got it.
And like we talked
The
about, there's a little bit of
bees.
interconnectivity, so we've already
Why
discussed
are
the
you
Titan's
touching
Bane
my
nerf.
Crusher?
Yeah, so it fits into multiple goals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Titan's Bane nerf is helping mages. It's hurting mid hunters. It's also lowering late game base damage.
Exactly.
Or
Look at
late game
that.
burst damage.
There's a Venn
but yeah,
diagram.
so-
somewhere.
Rated
We
in the
haven't made it
jungle,
yet, but-
boys.
Crusher is
Imagine
losing
it.
physical power. That's the
And no
new
more
one,
Crusher.
because we already talked about Titan's Bane. And then Muzen Cobb
To
is
confirm it
getting
real
nerfed.
quick, because I know it says it here. It's not going to 402.
Yeah.
It's probably just a 40. In fact,
That's
it is
40.
definitely just
That's
a 40.
40.
It's definitely just a 40.
It's like, I was like waiting for, is this going to? Yep, okay.
Come on, guys, get caught that one.
I just wanted to scare people. That was just. I mean, Halloween's over, but I
They're
didn't
like,
get
well, the
enough scares
designers
in.
put
So
it. That we
yeah, if you don't build Crusher mid lane, you're.
Yeah,
you're
watch them bug
yeah,
that
just-
shit and then
yeah.
come out
45
with
to 40
400
for the
power.
Yeah, 45
Losing
to
some
40.
power
Rush
off
Crusher,
and
win
Titan's
game.
Bane, as well as a Muzen Cobb getting additional nerfs now. Just got nerfed in the bonus, but hitting him again here, making sure we give mages a chance in that mid lane. So that's decreased base damage on Swarm, which is
Yeah.
his primary lane clear. Keep a note, though, that ability does apply beads. There's
Yeah, I was going to
additional
say,
damage
that
there.
looks like it's really, really low, but it does have more damage associated to it.
Yeah.
And the Stinger, specifically the CDR from picking up the Stinger, is gonna be
Oh,
20%
baby. Fuck you,
weaker,
AMC,
which is a pretty
trash
big
ass
change.
guy.
It is pretty big change.
Yeah. So.
AMC
Well, super
gone,
cool stuff.
boys.
I believe that's it for that section, but I believe we're now in Warrior solo buffs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
now
here
we're
we go.
moving across the conquest map
jumping
to another
over to a
side
different
that
lane.
hasn't been really mentioned with these other changes. So
Yeah.
we are noticing a lot of Guardians in solo.
Still.
So we want to try to buff Warriors, and we also have heard that there's a lot of underwhelming physical protection options.
Got it.
Right.
Which you could imagine would be a little counterintuitive if we're trying to make Warriors come back. But Warriors generally are not as worried about the physical protection.
Where is this information coming from?
Warriors and support Guardians better protection against assassins and hunters.
Yeah, got
So
it.
to bring back Warriors, we want to help them beat out Guardians in that lane, as well as we want to help them itemize, or be able to itemize, to better tank hunters and assassins in the late game.
Yeah, to help them thrive in that lane without just being instantly killed on a gank.
Yeah, so we do have a bunch of changes to items and gods here. The first
that.
one is the Warding Sigil starter item, increasing the magical protections there. So this one has
Okay.
kind of not been super popular throughout the years. It
Yeah.
doesn't really have a very clear identity.
They
but what we
want
wanted
you to have a
do
tanky option
is
against
use this
Guardians.
opportunity
Okay,
to
this is
give it
all
back,
right.
which
This
is
isn't-
that This is the
This isn't
super
something to
tanky
complain about yet.
right? The passive helps you just take less damage from all sources, but we're also buffing up the magical protection here. So if you do expect yourself in lane as a warrior against a aggressive guardian in the solo lane, you could buy this to be especially tanky, so they have
Yeah.
a hard time bursting you down, or whittling you down. Anything to add on the starter change there, Clumsy?
No, that's particularly it. We want to be very careful that, to look at the current starter items that Warriors are using and not overinflate those that already are good.
Yeah.
We're
And
seeing a
that's
lot
it.
of
That's the only buff.
Axel. We're seeing a lot of Tainted Steel. So this was one that we wanted to just make sure felt a little bit better.
Yeah.
Cool.
So next up for warrior buffs, we have a Berserker Shield buff.
yeah.
Increasing its physical protection, so making it a little bit tankier, helping them to counter
Yeah,
those
bulk up a little.
hunters. Yeah, we went for bulk changes in most of these warrior changes here. So we got physical protection
Okay.
buff and damage mitigation on the passive.
Yeah.
buffs
You know
on
why they're
Berserker
doing
Shield.
this, right?
On Mystical
Bellona's
Mail,
getting a
we got
RuneScape
health and
skin.
protections buff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Auto
Did not
attack
want to bring back the
warriors
damage on that because that was
aren't
actually
meta right
contributing to a
now.
lot of solo lane guardian AFK farm solo as they call
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So, but making this a better tanky option for warriors to pick up. If they want some additional damage in the early game and to better tank up against those physical DPS characters.
Why
in
would
the
you
late
want
game.
Mystical Mail to come
Got
back?
it. Next up looks like Runic Shield getting a little bit of a
Yep.
buff too.
So increasing the magical power debuff aura.
Debuff aura.
So that means, if you're going to be picking this up against bruisers, against mages in general, they're going to be dealing less damage.
Yeah.
Right. So if warrior pick this up against the guardian in that lane, they don't buy much power. They're going to feel this nerf.
Yeah.
Runic
It'll
Shield
be
was
a
trash,
pool noodle
so-
fight basically.
So we wanted
Okay.
to give the.
Bro, they buff
so we
these
have- this is
mages
the
and then they're
second
giving
change for
warriors
directly
anti-mage
against a
items.
guardian in their lane. This would help them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have a sledge buff, giving it a little bit more power, as
Got
well
it.
as increasing its physical protections per stack. So this protection stacks are no longer going to be symmetrical. It's actually going to be a little bit
Okay.
more indexed towards the physical defense,
Got it.
which is exciting.
Yeah, a little more physical bulk. I mean, like you said, lots of bulk changes for these, so cool.
We also have a lot of relic changes, and instead of keeping those in their own section,
Yeah, I was just like, wait a second, we brought them over
around
here.
a little bit
Gotcha.
to fit into the lanes and roles
Right.
that
The
usually
headers.
build them. There's someone probably out there saying, oh, whatever, Guardians build Thorns too sometimes, but generally we see this in the solo lane,
Yes.
not in the support. So we do have the Thorns of Overgrowth and the Thorns of Sapping Strength.
Got it.
Specifically the upgrades.
Both getting,
Yeah.
the final upgrades, both getting buffs here as well today, increasing the reflect damage on
Okay, I'm gonna be
Overgrowth
honest with you.
and increasing the
This
maximum damage
this
of
is
reflect
scary
and sapping strength, increasing the
because I
lifesteal
can
debuffs, so it makes it
foresee
especially hard to
the
lifesteal for
old
you.
Yeah.
And increasing the max
warriors
damage
fucking
taken
auto
effect
attacking
as
you
well.
If you
with
see
thorns,
mages or
and
soul
you
winners or
literally
guardians
just
still there,
dying.
and they're going the new Vamp Shroud, maybe pick up the sapping strength as well to
And not being
mitigate
able
that
to do
lifesteal.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of counterplay built right into the balance. So super exciting. Looks like we're moving into the gods now. of
There
the
he
Warrior
is.
Solo.
There he is,
Hiding
yes.
over here in the warrior solo area. All right.
Well, Hades doesn't really come into play in the mid lane.
Not quite
Although
as
we were
much.
talking mages, we were really talking mid lane,
Nerfing
especially SPL
damage.
level mid lane in the
Yeah.
first section.
By half.
But we're talking solo lane now.
Well,
This is where Hades has been
Half
showing up.
early, too late.
He has been putting up bonkers numbers most of
Doing
the year.
work.
Yeah, so Claw getting
Thorns
nerfed is
high
definitely part of
skill
that.
relic,
That is an item he
yeah.
often picks up, but not
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Doesn't
he goes
have to
more
be.
tanky, especially SPL level solo lane.
Pythax is back a
we
little
also
bit.
just wanted to straight up nerf him directly, so we're decreasing the detonate damage. So that damage is actually multiplicative depending on the number of targets hit.
I feel like
the
his
blight
clear
is
is
awesome.
gonna be dog shit now.
Nerf.
Yeah.
Right.
To
This
his
is gonna make
base,
Hades early game ass.
which is important to note. So that's the full tank solo lane.
Yeah.
Kind of SPL Hades.
I don't know if I'm trolling, but I feel like Hades isn't gonna get picked at all now. Just because no one wants a bad early game on
But
Hades.
it's still a pretty big nerf.
And it starts scaling back to its original, almost its original mount to the late.
Yeah, actually slightly higher. You're
Slightly
right.
higher.
We focused really heavily on his early game clear.
Yeah.
Because he was just out clearing and bullying
Out clearing,
this lane
punishing.
into
Yeah.
the ground.
And this might be a good time because Hades kind of transcends modes as well to address that. While a lot of the balance that we're doing is conquest high level focus, it is always going to have trickle effects, and very intentionally so for other game modes and other
of course.
players. Point of view. So, Hades is one that not only has done very well in Bancroft's, with Bancroft's Claw and in SPL, but he's also transcended. He continues to be very strong in Arena and other game modes. So
True,
we want to make sure we particularly hit in all
I mean,
cases.
I might be crazy, but I don't think we have to explain to them how good Hades is anymore. Like, there was a long time where we have to be like, trust us, he's
Yep,
not
Hades
bad.
tier 5,
But he was
meta,
actually, what did we see? in
couple
our
months
stats,
later,
like top
dead.
3, top 2?
He's been for
most
a
banned
while.
in ranked right now.
Exactly.
Which I don't think Hades has ever done
Yeah.
in his entire career.
So-
hit that ban tier before.
He hit the glow up, and people were
Well-
like, "No, not in my game."
While his win percentage might have been high historically,
Yeah.
as soon as we saw him being played in
Hades
the
has the
SPL,
highest
and
win
then as soon as
rate
the ban
of
count,
anyone I've
rises,
seen
we
in a
know
long
players
time.
know.
Right.
He's at like a 59%
So then we
win
also
rate right
have
now.
2 fun buffs to bring back some warriors to the solo lane.
24,000 games
Gilgamesh, who famously known for being nerfed a lot of times,
The
King
kick
of
was-
resiliency.
The kick was strong.
finally was
Buffed
nerfed.
is one.
Very out of the
Damn.
meta. Bringing him back, and we're actually trying to bring him back in a
Ooh,
new way
what's up,
here
Dev?
by adding a little new component where he's going to be able to gain HP 5 during the effects.
This
of
is
the
auto
Silver
attack, bro.
Scimitars.
This is
Right.
Berserker.
So hoping to give him a
Yeah.
little bit more solo.
Are we gonna
lane,
see Gil Bologna back in jungle and in
durability.
solo?
Yeah, a little more
exactly.
sustained.
That's a
Which
lot of
we don't
HP
think that
5,
would be
dude.
valued
Like,
as
you
much
could get
on
mannequins
jungle
will be
Gilgamesh.
fucking
We
nuts
still
on
might see
Gilgamesh.
given some buffs, but we're also decreasing the cooldown on dropkick.
Yeah.
Because that was an ability he really relies on, and that went up. So we're just taking it back down.
If
a
we
notch,
get
making sure
back into
we're
a
clearing that
fucking
lane.
hybrid
More
jungle meta, I
kicking the
might
better, in
puke.
my opinion.
Yeah,
So
we want to be very careful not to directly just increase his damage, across the board.
Yeah.
So like we said, a utility and, kind of a double utility. And then
Yeah.
obviously there might be people correcting me saying, hey, cooldown reduction is damage increase, but it's not directly. We want to be very careful with how we did that.
I think that's a good point for the burst and the 9.5 type of community.
Yeah.
Cooldown is a good way to give characters an edge without necessarily bringing back
Right.
burst.
It's over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you got to get bursted multiple times, all right? And then it's
Yeah,
not
they
my
want
fault
hybrid to
anymore.
come back, dude.
yeah, you didn't dodge the
I
kick.
hate
you know,
Gilgamesh.
The classic
Fuck
to win,
Gilgamesh.
be better. So
Game's
So
better when he's not
finally,
played.
the last warrior solo buff we have here is Sun Wukong.
yeah,
Any Sun Wukong players on the couch?
Yeah,
No.
I like Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
not a lot.
Well, we were just in a
Gilgamesh.
Soul Eater Bluestone meta, and we still did not see much. of
Yeah,
the
pretty
Monkey King.
crazy.
So that was a signal to us that he needed some buffs.
Little
So
love.
we're looking at the passive here, making that much more effective. So when he gets low health now, he was already really good at being evasive and just staying in the fight. He's going to be even better at that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is really cool because that's his identity. And we're also leaning into more disruption on Master's Will. No, you can't have the knockup back. Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
Yes,
we may have joked about it, or we're like, huh,
yes,
what
we've
if?
Talked about it. Yes, we've talked about it.
Unless,
yes, we've looked hard in the mirror and said, no, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But this increased duration on that CC is going to be impactful too.
Yeah, I think that'll be really helpful. Well, cool. That wraps up that section. On to another section. So this one hits home for me because I am definitely a Guardian player. So shout out to supports and getting some buffs. What's happening in the support world?
Yeah, this one's easy. Support buffs. That's all there is to it. Looking to find a couple buffs for support. So when we're
Atlas
talking
players.
about the late game burst, oftentimes support players are a big part of that conversation because they're in there, they're trying to take damage. They want to absorb that damage.
Yeah.
But when they feel like they're getting bursted exceptionally fast, that doesn't feel good. You know,
Nah,
we want
yeah.
supports to be able to be tanky. That's a goal for us that we're going to be looking into maybe more in the distant future. But for now, we do have some quick buffs to their core items as well as a bunch of utility relic buffs, which I think are really exciting, especially as we go into a more competitive section of the year. All of these relics,
what are they gonna do here, boys?
Game-changing possibilities.
Oh yeah, seeing some of those swap in. So yeah, it looks like we're starting off right up with some of those relics with Ankh, Drowned Ankh specifically.
So for these relics, we tried to look at
Zonk is ass.
only the most upgraded relics first. We
Got
weren't
it.
really
Very
hitting the
top.
tier 1s and tier 2s. We weren't trying to really throw off the balance of those relics immediately.
Yeah.
We're often looking at, there's two choices for each upgrade, right? We're looking at which one of these is generally less preferred.
Yeah.
Sometimes, in some cases, like in Thorns, we did buff both.
Yeah.
But for some of these, there's one that was already very preferred, so we generally avoided that one and buffed the other one to help increase the amount of chances that there's more of a choice
Yeah,
there.
bring that balance.
So traditional Ankh already doing pretty well. Drowned Ankh, on the other hand, was being held back quite a bit, generally by the lower healing debuff, so bringing that up to match.
Okay, cool.
Zonk.
Bracer of Illumination, similar situation.
Shiny bracelet.
Yeah.
Angry Cloud, shiny
Yeah,
bracelet.
yeah.
But this one, increasing the power buff when above half health and increasing the movement speed when below half health. So this one,
Better all the
just
time.
better.
Yeah, just generally better. Drop in the middle of a
Because
team fight and
the
win.
contrast is the other one gives you both,
Exactly.
but this one would only give you one or the other. So we're like, why is it also weaker? Or why is it also the same? It should be better.
Yeah.
So giving it some buffs here. Cloak of the Avatar, next. That's the knockback meditate.
Yeah.
Which was often kind of thought of as, I think we saw one last week in SPL though, which was exciting.
Yeah, it's cool
But
to see it
that's
show up.
pretty rare. Generally wasn't seen because
Someone hit me with that
the
shit the other
knockback
day,
wasn't
and
worth
I
the
was
trade-off
so
of
confused because we just insta-killed them.
better healing.
Yeah.
It was an Ares.
Seeing the Blink Wheelix like knockback its ulti plays was really cool when it first
That's
came
true.
out. But no.
So this one's getting buffed in the increased health and mana restore. That's to make it closer to the other meditation.
Right.
Yeah.
Other meditation still has that cooldown effect though, which is very powerful. So that's the key differentiator there, but bringing their
Yeah.
healing to be closer together.
Got it. Scorching Blink up next, it looks like.
Yeah,
Got that
Scorching
hot
Blink.
blink.
So this is a damage buff masquerading as a utility buff. So
yeah.
actually increase the damage over time, which means you're going to take an additional tick of damage.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is
dot.
actually a damage buff to this item, which this item, those of you who remember,
Scorching Blink is
9-1,
weird.
was like insanely strong.
I do
Has
remember
since
that.
been nerfed very heavily.
Yeah, that shit
It
was
did
OP
not
as
really
fuck.
picked
You could
up
do
at all.
800
In those
damage with
cases,
it
people
easily.
going for the corrupted blink, that debuffing blink.
I think
right?
it caps like
So
500 now,
attempting to bring this
right?
one back.
Yeah, that was definitely that was an interesting time for sure.
Scorching
So it looks
using
like we have
full
one more
upgraded at
Emblem of
level 1,
Trembling
I would
Terror
insta-kill
also
somebody.
getting a little bit
Oh no,
of
we
a-
have more relics. We have more relics. We got
Well,
another
one more.
page here.
Okay,
It
one more on
doesn't
this page.
Yeah, Trembling Terror. This is the
This is trash.
emblem that can actually CC people.
Yeah.
If you hit the trigger. So we made that trigger a little bit easier to trigger, and we made that CC more effective.
Yeah.
Because that part just wasn't being valued. People were just taking the straight up slow and attack speed debuffs.
Yeah.
Oh, they give
Makes
you
sense, but
3
we wanted
seconds
this
of a
one to be
tremble. That's going to be
featured in
really
the
annoying.
Yeah. All right, then we continue on with
Yes.
some wings. Looks like Hastened and Entangling both getting a little bit of love.
Right, so both wings, or for you old school Smite players, sprint relics, both of those getting increased movement speed on both of them. We just haven't seen these relics much, so getting just their core feature getting buffed. A little bit different than the way we
A
handled
little bit of
others.
more schmoovin'.
And now our last relic, Sundering Siphon, which actually maybe I should have put this one in the warrior section, so apologies to you. But for those of you aggressive supports out there who want to buy Sunder, or more likely it's more jank comps in
So me.
non-conquest modes.
You
Sure.
can say it. So me.
But
Got it.
Sunder, this item has a lot of potential. This was also one that we were really concerned about being really strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At the beginning of the year, but was heavily nerfed. So bringing this back,
Wonder if you could
with
fit
just
Siphon
a
in
little bit of buffs across the board.
And we have seen its alternative
builds.
being used every once in a while. So like that's one of the reasons why we didn't just buff both. Is Sundering Blast has been used even in the SPL.
Yeah, trying to choose those ones that are a little underutilized and bring them kind of back in full swing and see if we can see those appearing in games too. Whew.
So we have a couple support items.
Yeah.
And these I want to call out because they tend to they follow a little bit different philosophy than what we often do on our updates.
Let's get philosophical
So
then.
these are items that we know supports are already building, and we're still buffing them.
Yeah.
That's because we want to make sure we give supports a known impact to their tankiness and to their
Noticeable.
build.
Got it.
We can always
he's
buff
under- I
underperforming
don't know
items
about
with
that.
the
Try it.
hope that they'll replace or become a new option. But
Yeah.
for supports, we already feel like they have a lot of options.
Right.
They have a lot of situational auras or counter items they want to build. But we know that Gauntlet of Thebes and Spirit Robe are two that most supports are building most of the time.
True.
And just to make sure they get those gains that we want to give them,
Yeah.
we're going to make Spirit Robe cost a little less, make sure they can pick up a little quicker, and we're increasing the protections on Gauntlet of Thebes by a little bit more. But it will take a little bit longer to stack.
You got to work up to it.
So we really want to make sure, just for supports.
Yeah.
No one else be building Gauntlet of Thebes, please.
You'll do it. We'll
Solo
we'll
laner.
have to
Challenge
think
now.
through it. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Old laner's better build
You're
Gauntlet,
gonna make
GG.
him cry.
Good luck.
And then we have
Whew.
a couple gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To finish off our support
To
section.
finish the supports.
We have Sylvanas.
Love him.
His passive actually kind of upgrades based on level, kind of like a starter item. It was at 17 those days. We brought that down to 15, like we did with the starter item.
Just makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah, and decrease cooldown on Verdant Growth, which is this core
Yeah.
kind of setup and damage ability.
Yeah. Just by 1 second across the board, we didn't want to go too crazy.
Yeah. Bring it down, help him out, but not like make him the pick all the time or feel bad character. So, and then it looks like the last one, Jing Qian.
Yeah, decreased hook slam cooldown. So that's his also his primary.
They're
kind of
fucking
setup
with
ability.
so many
Yeah.
cooldowns
Key
in
thing
this
to note here:
patch.
both these gods also DR
It's gonna be up
changes.
so
Yep, exactly.
fast.
The effects from DR changes, so getting these cooldown buffs will really help them make sure they make an impact.
Awesome. Super cool. So that is it for supports. So hooray, fellow supports. Looking forward to seeing you
Watch,
out there.
guaranteed
Next
assassins
up,
get
duo
one
hunters
change.
look like they're getting
One
a little
change.
bit
They'll
of love
probably
as
nerf.
well. So what's happening with them?
So a good thing to note is that we were nerfing mid hunters,
Yes.
but we didn't want all of those nerfs to get translated directly
to the duo
into
lane.
duo hunters, and therefore nerfing all hunters.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing a couple duo items and gods buffs to counteract that. They're still probably going to be affected. I know a lot of duo
Isn't
lanes
there
still buff
buffing
building
hunter
Crusher,
items?
Yeah.
Titan's Bane,
Right.
But wanted to give them a couple other buffs to help counteract that. So we have Gilded Arrow, first and foremost, which has dropped off quite a bit from the hunter starter options.
Yeah.
Although I've
Bringing it
seen
back.
the crit builds have been coming back.
True.
Even with
little bit.
Death's Toll or Leather Cowl start. So this Gilded Arrow change might actually be a little bit bigger than anticipated. But it is a small buff. We were very careful with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing on the gold regen.
Yeah, no gold. And this is just a little bit more attack speed and mana restore on successful
Fuck
hit
Scorching
of the
Blade
trigger.
for jungling.
Which, that takes some specific management to make sure you get those triggers.
Oh yeah.
And that change is being transferred over to Diamond Arrow,
Yeah.
the upgrade,
Got it.
which has the same clause.
Yeah. Just bringing it down the upgrade tree.
Same logic there. And then we have Griffin Wing earrings.
Love them.
We haven't been seeing this item too much. A lot of people were saying this one felt like the weaker of the mid-season
Still
items.
love 'em.
So continuing to look at some stats just for this one.
Yeah.
We're not really interested in tweaking that passive anymore. We feel like that the number we're at is the right place to be.
Yeah.
So more power, more attack speed.
Just making it better overall.
Yep. Help it better compete with other items.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Well, cool,
then-
cool.
I hope that's
What, we
never
got some
actually a meta
gods?
item.
Yeah,
They
we
just remove
do.
it.
Oh, our boy Hachiman.
Ho ho.
He's fallen off a little bit more than expected. That's for sure.
That's
Our
true, but I think
Did
we
I
still
say
took a
that?
little
Yeah.
bit.
yeah. Flip side, these double-sided pages are
Yeah.
really throwing us
Saving
off.
paper because I care
From-
about the environment
single-
and trees and stuff.
Saving paper is right. You're right, but that's the second time I've done that now. Sorry. Sorry, squad. Kronos.
Exciting,
right?
yeah. That's where we're
He's
at.
in the duo lane hunter section, by the way, because he's
True.
mostly played as a carry in the duo lane.
Yeah.
And we
Damn,
buffed some
early
Mage
buff
ADCs
to
in
the
last couple
two?
patches, and a lot of people. were
Everyone
like,
was going, where's Kronos?
Yeah.
why not Kronos?
Where's he at?
Buff
Well, here he is. We
extra
just wanted to take
power
our
on
time on this
abilities
one.
from his
But
passive on the
We have some
third
exciting changes here, Clumsy.
area.
Yeah, these are really cool. So Accelerate, his main stim is going to be increasing the
this
attack
thing.
speed.
Yeah.
By quite a bit, specifically focusing on the early game. Kronos, when he's using that attack speed, he has a lot of different, competing stim effects that he could be using.
Yeah.
But the one for the early game, the one that's going to be going on all the time is that attack speed, right? It's just always applicable. So especially early game where you really don't have those
Kronos
rings
jungle, baby,
in
let's get
effects
it.
yet, your build hasn't really come online.
Yeah.
That
Still in the
15%
jungle,
wasn't
but
really
that's
doing
all I'm
much.
playing.
So now go for 15 to 25, and then scaling to the same amount late game, right? So you're not going to be getting a late game Kronos buff there. You're going to be getting some other stuff for these other effects. So increase the effect of the section 3, which is the magical power increase from 25% to 35%.
And we went through this one really closely because this one is often said as the worst one.
Yes.
Because it is going to give you a much worse return on investment on your basic attacks than the
Exactly.
other mode, which specifically buffs basic attacks.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to use this one for ability, Kronos, if you're building a little bit
Yeah, I
more
was
Mage
using
Kronos,
that
this one
like
is
2
gonna be-
nights ago, and
that's
it's
a 10%,
really
that's a
fucking
significant
weak.
increase.
It is a good
You
chunk.
barely
It's
even
still
tell
not
the
going to be
damage
enough
difference.
to ever outpace the basic attack one for your basic attacks.
Right.
But it is going to improve your
I
basic
was using it for the one shot,
Or if it
and
would
you
form,
one
this
shot
one
with the
still
with
does
or without it.
affect
Didn't
And it'll be
matter.
hitting your
And
abilities
it's
as
gonna
well.
make your abilities hit a lot harder.
So, I mean, we were diagnosing which of those sections were the ones that felt the weakest. This one was just very obvious. You want the health regen when you're kind of low. You want that the
mana regen
mana,
when you're
so
also
the health
out
of the
of mana.
person. Yeah,
Right.
the mana regen when you just want to like clear wave and you're especially for the
Yeah.
early to mid game. That damn basic attack stim is really really good. And then
Right.
finally the
Comes in
magic
clutch.
power was just the one that felt the weakest.
And then it's also going to come with a base damage buff on time stop, also towards the higher ranks.
Right.
Got it. Cool. Lots of love for him there. But looks up next up, Danzaburo, which Danza's one of my favorite. I've always loved since release. So
He's
I
so
mean,
fun, yes.
Yeah, just
and he had a very
unbelievably so.
strong release, and then had to be nerfed a few times, so dropped off, and now time to
It'll
bring
happen.
it back. So getting some increased physical power on his passive. That's just going to be free power for Danzaburo over time, which is great.
All you
Easy
Danza
And then also
lovers,
Fool's
you're gonna be
Gold,
happy. I
his
assume.
kind of primary lane clear and poke ability, getting a nice base damage buff there
Yeah.
to
so
all ranks.
Simple there.
feels good because
Now we can talk about it.
Yeah. Now we're into
There we
Hachi.
go. Okay.
So back to Hachi and the Eagle Eye starting off with, huh?
Yes, basic attack power scaling on that long range poke ability. Also giving a buff to the Heavenly Banner duration, which that's a pretty strong buff he
Yeah.
would give to himself and his
Very
team.
helpful.
Now going to do that already scales in damage and
we
the
nerfing
buff.
hunters? No,
So
they said they were
and
buffing
duration.
hunters.
Doesn't really need to scale in duration as well.
Yeah.
So giving him that's going to help his early ranks a good bit with that attack speed buff.
Yeah.
He's a safe hunter.
They're doing
we
that because
often
he's
see
usually
pulled out
meta when
in
Rama's
the
meta, and Rama's
half
just
of the
way better right
seasons
now.
when the stakes are really high.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we haven't really seen him at all, so we were worried he wouldn't be an option.
Yeah. With the potential of 2 hunters on the board and he's not one of them. It's like, huh, where'd he go?
Yeah. What do
Right.
we got to do to bring him back a little bit? So
Right.
Cool. Ooh, next up. Ishtar's still kind of new on the scene, not super new, but still kind of making the debut and learning some stuff. So it looks like Jolt is getting a little bit of an adjustment.
Ooh,
So
double
this is more of
immunity
like
frames,
a
good.
quality of life fix.
Okay.
We're actually seeing, after the previous
Good.
buffs that Ishtar's been getting, we're seeing her a little bit more in the SPL, which is really
Yeah, that was
awesome.
great.
Yeah,
Having that
super
ability
super
to
cool.
interact weird
Hesitancy
and
there,
get
now we're
canceled
seeing
and
that.
shit was
And one
annoying.
thing that players have kind of asked for a lot is just that when you're hitting an enemy with Jolt, that kind of animation time where you're doing that flip, it's when she'd be canceled out the most, and it just really feels bad for that Ishtar player. So
Got
now you're gonna be getting some immunity frames while you're in that animation when you're kicking off of an enemy.
Earlier in the backflip.
Exactly.
You'll become immune sooner, quicker.
Yep.
After you hit them.
So if you were CC during that time previously and you'd be canceled out, now it's very unlikely to be the case.
That's a good change.
Got it. Cool.
Quality
Super
of life,
awesome.
not
That
a
looks like
buff.
the end of the duo hunter buffs.
That
Moving
is all the
in
hunters.
to some spicy basic attack assassin buffs. So how's my swinging assassins doing?
Ooh,
What
they're
kind of love are they
buffing
getting?
Colin?
Basic
Mercury?
attack assassins were really strong after 9.5.
Yeah.
So we nerfed them
Yeah.
a good bit. And we've been
Brought 'em back
buffing
down.
traditional ability assassins.
And they're still good.
They're still
But that
good.
has kind of inverted a little bit. Now ability assassins are being way more prioritized. So just a
Baka.
small buff here to bring basic
Baka.
attack assassins back with a serrated edge buff.
Got it.
Decrease the cost.
They're doing
by a
that 'cause they
noticeable
nerfed
amount and
Titans Bane.
increase the lifesteal.
Yeah.
The lifesteal is kind of an interesting
Yeah,
thing. It's kind of a
what? Big
unique
deal.
feature of that.
They said
item in
decrease
that tree.
cost though, right?
So giving those the lifesteal.
Show me the numbers.
Giving those guys a lifesteal will really help them stay high health, which is really
Show
important
me
for the
the
basic attack
numbers.
assassins. Because once they engage, they really got to stay in there
Yeah.
and just keep
Yeah.
pumping out basic
It's
attacks.
not a
They gotta
Kali
box
buff
it out,
either.
So for sure.
So it's just an item
At
that
all.
the basic attack assassins kind of were skipping over
That's
when
gonna
we
buff-
saw it, nerfed quite a bit previously in the past.
Let's
So
get a
bring
buff
that up.
ability assassin.
Cool. And it looks like we have one section remaining. We have been through so much.
That's
Again, for those of y'all who are watching, check out the
You
update
just
notes. This
buffed
is a new thing
ability
for us.
assassins,
Give us
told
the
us it was
feedback,
an
and you can
auto
read
attack
along with what we've been
assassin
going
buff.
through there
Didn't
and
give
see
us the
everything in case we
numbers.
missed something. But the last area that we're touching on are just general underperformers, things that just aren't quite hitting how they should in game. So
And
get
these
into it.
happen to be two ability-based assassins.
Huh? Funny.
Essentially, by the end, through all those other sections, we've already gotten pretty much something for everyone in this update.
Yeah.
Every class or role has had some level of
Sprinkle
change.
of love.
Buffs
That's
or
it?
nerfs. The last ones that didn't have any we didn't have any assassin buffs
No.
in this whole patch until right now.
And talking
not.
about
Bro, they're gonna
items or
buff,
characters
like,
that were
Set
overly nerfed at a time,
and
we have these two.
fucking-
Right. So Bastet
Fenrir.
was the best guy in the game for
Bastet.
quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
It was nerfed pretty heavily. That's getting brought.
Just
that's
remove
getting,
her. She's
you know,
so fucking
a buff here,
boring.
maybe not enough to bring her back to where she was
all the
before.
way to there,
But
but-
an important note here is that there was a bug with this ability where the first initial hit of Razor
Right.
Whip was not doing the intended amount of damage. That will now be fixed, and all of these abilities will now. So all of her ticks will now do more damage.
Yep.
Got it. So general good things.
Also, Kleena.
Kleena,
getting buffed,
yeah,
and
the jump
that's going to
scare.
be a physical power scaling on her ranged attack, that flickering visions, which
Yeah.
we're really hesitant to buff anything else in her kit.
This is the worst.
The kit still looks crazy when you look
ever.
at it, but we have not been seeing nearly as much play from her, and her performance in general across many different skill levels and game modes is lower. So looking for a safe place to buff her,
Yeah.
hopefully without overdoing it.
Yeah, and we know you clean up players who are going to give him a try will like throwing her into the solo lane. So with the scaling buff on, not her ulti, it's something that hopefully junglers utilize a little bit more.
Yes, this does work. Generally gets used much more by jungle Kleenas too.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that does it for all of the various.
Yeah, there
It
we
does.
go.
Oh, that was so much. So again, check out those update notes. There's a lot of things there. I mean, everything that we just talked about is going to be on there. So if that was hard to follow along with, this is a new process. But we
This
want to
went
give y'all
from, like,
the same information
a
but
lot
better. We want to
cooler
block things in a way that
than I
makes
thought it
sense
was
and
gonna be,
hopefully
right
help y'all
back to
understand it
not
more. So
cool.
let us know what you think. You can hit me up on Twitter and give me all the advice. And
patch changes
we'll
nothing
continue to
except
change
for
and edit to make
Mage-
this like
Mage
the
to be
best transfer of
cracked
information
and
we
auto
can.
attack
So
warriors coming back.
Next up, we have community news, one of my favorite spots, the spot where they just let me talk for like an eternity. So starting off, we already talked about domination a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back up. That's the first Smite night with the 9.11 update, which is dropping next Tuesday, which is the 15th, unless I forgot how to count, which means
They're
on the
diving
19th,
so
that Saturday,
heavy
you can hop back
into,
into
like,
domination with all of those cool new
non-conquest.
changes. So make sure to read them all and then forget them like I probably
Like,
will.
no one cares
and
about
play
Smite
with
night.
your friends and enjoy some domination madness. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope to see y'all enjoying that.
forced.
Let us know if you do, because we're always looking at ways to spice up the Smite night. Next up, we have Golden Bolts voting going on now. So we have our finalists locked in. For those of you who are excited about, the people in your community and the pro players that you love, get out there, vote for your finalists, and make sure that you're showing off or showing out for who you love. I can't talk because I'm too excited. So get out there and vote. Voting is still going on, but it's not going to last forever. And if you want somebody to win, best way to do it is to go vote for them. So make sure you do that. Last, but most certainly not least, if you are still waiting to get into the closed alpha for DKO, that's Divine Knockout, you can do it through Steam now, and it might get you in there just a little quicker. So make sure to jump on over to the Steam page for DKO, and on that Steam page, you can click the Request Access button, which is located under the Join the Divine Knockout PTS, so that you can get into that game and start enjoying it right away. So again, Steam, Divine Knockout, check it out. It's going to be super cool. I mean, I've been playing in that a little bit as well. It's incredibly fun, and if you haven't tried it, I think you'll love it as well. So that kind of wraps the general community news. Now we're moving into the skin section a little bit, and I'm actually joined by a new person on the couch. We have Lermy. How you doing, Lermy?
Hello, it's so exciting to be here, and I am so excited to go through these skins with the Runescape skins and so many other cool ones too. So I can't wait. These are awesome.
It's going to be incredible, but we still have a little bit to get through before we get there, so just hold on. A lot of cool stuff between here and there, though, because come on, we don't do lame stuff. It's only cool, and then sometimes like really cool. So starting off, digital loot pack coming out, and also some SPL chat though. We are in the road to Worlds. Phase 3 is like happening. We're working our way there. So November 30th, December 4th. Make sure you're watching those games. They're going to be hype. And we're building up to Worlds. January is right around the corner, which is horrifying to say.
I was going to say, so much stuff to do.
It really is. Yeah, there's going to be just an unmeasurable amount of awesome between here and there. And that, for SPL, that's starting at the end of this month. So really keep your eye on that because the road to Worlds is on the way. And to tie into that, we have the digital loot pack. So this is one of the things we release every year. That's one of those, like, internally people are always like this is value. We try to cram all the cool stuff we can into this digital loot pack. And I think we've done it again this year. I mean, there's obviously all kinds of stuff, like there's cosmetics, there's a bunch of other stuff, but the coolest is the skins, in my opinion. I'm just a skin lover. It's one of my favorite things to talk about on the show. And to represent the SPL, we have a new Gilgamesh skin.
Yeah.
The Atlantis Leviathan's Gilgamesh. So let's check that out.
Oh my
That's
goodness!
sick.
I believe
Absolutely incredible.
this card art got teased as well during the invitational.
did.
So
Oh, nice.
I mean, here it is. We finally got him in the game, and he looks great.
He does. I mean, to celebrate our world champions, we wanted to get this going, and it's just an incredible skin.
That's awesome.
So, this is one of those things where with our teams, with the new team branding and everything, this is one of the first skins we're getting to release under that branding. And we were super excited to have the Atlantis Leviathans chip in their inspirations and their desires as we were working through this and create a product that just looks incredible and
Think about this patch.
The team's dominant presence on the battleground really well. So let's hear a voice line.
Who makes the money on this
tides are
skin? That's what I
turning.
want to know.
It's finally time for the Leviathan to make some waves.
Nice.
I have been summoned from the depths of Atlantis to restore peace to this realm. With the Leviathan on my side, we cannot lose.
I don't like this because they're doing all the branding around
The
their branding
Leviathan
and not the players.
has awoken.
Because they're planning the players
So a
not
couple
being on the
voice lines
Leviathans
there.
There we
forever.
go.
All super cool.
I don't like this at
and, because we always support our communities
It's
and our
not
SPL
supporting the
teams,
players,
We figured we
it's-
had to go in
it's
game for this
supporting
one and really
high-res's
show off just how
fucking
cool
branding.
this is for our world champion. So let's go in game and check
The
it out.
skin is ass.
Wow, look at that.
That skin is so
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Oh, there you go. I was like, are we
Look
gonna
at
show
those
off the little?
logos.
Oh,
So incredible.
oh, damn! Wow.
How
Look
is
at
that
That's awesome.
incredible?
Oh my gosh. Talk about repping the team.
Yeah,
People-
you really will be.
People are gonna know who you're a
Hi.
fan of if you throw this skin out there. That is so. I mean, even just the colors, that blue and yellow looks so good in game.
Yeah, and
I
the
love that.
logos too. They're just awesome logos, right? So to see him rep like that in the game, and even when you pop the one, that's so
Bro,
cool.
they just
Yeah,
buffed
that's,
this god
that's
and
swag
3
right
of his
there, no
items.
doubt. So
And then they
again,
dropped
shout out
this.
to the Atlantis Leviathans. Shout out to the this new Gilgamesh skin, and oh man, it just gets you hyped for Worlds. So the next skin
Oh, it
in the
does
digital loot pack is Shining Dragon Yu Huang, actually. So
There he is.
getting some Yu Huang colors
sweet.
out there. Look at how nice that looks too.
It looks so good. This card art too. He looks mad.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
thinking that.
I was actually trolling
Incredible.
with
And
this
one thing I
patch.
always love about seeing Yu Huang show. Oh,
Oh.
my god.
Oh my god, the ring.
Yeah, I love his back piece.
Yeah, the back
Yo.
ornament. I was about to say it is
Yo.
always incredible.
That is amazing. I love the pearlescent finishes.
What is
too.
amazing
Those are
about this? Am
so
I drunk?
Sick. He looks
Am
really
I just
regal
like
looking.
fucking old
Fitting
grumpy
for an
man right now?
emperor,
What the
right?
fuck?
So, and that gold accents it so well. So, an absolutely beautiful skin.
Well, if you
another
guys are
super
buying
awesome
this,
thing.
You're kind of
So,
trolling.
next up, we have another skin in the digital loot pack, and that is a Yamoja skin, Midnight Waters Yamoja. So, another super awesome
Oh,
skin. Look
snap.
at her.
Let's go.
She's
Yeah.
Oh my
looking
gosh.
nice.
I mean, spotlight
This is super
on
cool,
her
guys.
for
I
obvious
can't wait to see it in the
reasons.
game.
She is,
That blue is
the
gonna
center
pop.
of the party. So
You have to
I
buy
love that,
this.
like,
This is a
masquerade
must-have.
theme, too.
Yeah, where is she going? She's going to a party or something?
I mean, it looks like if I have to build
I
a
don't
story
get
here,
it.
which I'm going
These
to,
are
'cause I love that. It looks like
boring.
that's her mansion, and she's like the host of the party, finally arriving fashionably late down the stairs. Like everybody's been there sipping tea and eating finger sandwiches, and then she rolled up like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" So super cool skin, super excited about it. Ooh, that is really cool.
Where'd it go?
I love those, like, I don't know, I
Where
guess
the
the
bu- where
crystal
the
lanterns. I
fuck
don't
did
really
the
know what to
skin
call
go?
them
What is
floating behind
this?
her, but it looks really good. And again, huge fan of the masquerade theme.
Yeah, that is such a nice look for her.
What
I love it.
happened?
Absolutely so good. So yeah, let's listen to a voice line.
I will bless this world with life-giving waters. It is in dire need of restoration. This battlefield is filled with filth and corruption.
Yeah,
I
wait,
have
why
come to
did they
wash
make
it
her
all
white?
away. Yemoja.
That is the default voice pack,
Super,
right?
super awesome. Absolutely love
What
this
the
skin.
fuck
And again,
is going
a part of
on?
the digital loot
Ooh,
pack.
did
But
they
that's not
sell
all.
their art
There
team?
is one more.
now we
in
just
the
have the
digital loot pack,
leftovers?
and this one is another one I'm super excited about. And unless I'm
they
incorrect,
all
should be
working
a
on
first
RuneScape?
skin. So I could be wrong because
Yeah, I'm like,
It
I'm
is.
looking at here. I'm like,
I think
I
it
didn't,
is.
I didn't know this was coming. So like, I'm really excited to see what this is.
so let's check
Pure
it out.
surprise for me.
Dragon Lord Lancelot.
Oh, sweet.
Look at
All armored
Lancelot
up.
Hey, yo.
with the dragon horse. I guess
Please-
not
this
horse,
could look
but
really
the
cool in
dragon
game.
mount.
He's a
This
dragon
could
now.
potentially look actually cool in game. It's
That's
gonna
so
be basic
incredible.
white, like
I
all the fucking
absolutely
night skins
love it.
they have in the
the
game.
horns
But
and everything, and like that blue coloring on the mount. Oh my gosh, Lancelot's one of those characters that came out, and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I can just ride my horse around everywhere all the time. Like, why would I play
Is this a
anything else?
recolor? I don't
Super
know. They didn't
cool.
show it in
Super
game.
excited about this one. Another addition
Super
to the
cool.
that digital
Super
loot
excited.
pack. And
So
again, it's just an
awesome.
incredible skin, and a hard one to make too,
Looks
because
great in
Lancelot's
game.
horse that's a complex mechanic. There's a lot of
Oh.
animation. So
Look at that lance.
oh, that looks beautiful.
That is
I
some
kind of
nice
like it, but it doesn't look like
armor.
the
Oh
card
my
art.
gosh, look at the horse.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
like
I
the
love
shield.
there too. That looks awesome.
I genuinely feel
The
so
blue
bad for the
accents are
artists
absolutely
who draw
incredible,
sick
and yeah, that
card
lance,
art,
like
then they
the
just ruin how it
four-bladed
looks
kind of
in-game.
lance style is just I can't get over it.
I
Absolutely,
cannot
a fan
get
of it.
over
Super
how
excited.
fucking
And,
awesome
I believe we have a voice
this
line for this
skin
one
is.
too, so let's hear that.
I cannot wait to buy it.
Come, Drago. The citizens of this fair village are in peril, and it is up to us to save them. Another day, another realm in need of saving. Well, Drago, you
What
up
did I
for
miss?
another
What is
round?
all saying that?
Absolutely,
White
love
is
it.
strange,
Still kind
but
of
it's,
has that,
it's
that Lancelot
almost cool,
character
except for
too,
the
which I'm
purple doesn't
super in
go
love
with it. Like the weird
So-
off-color purple.
And again,
is fucking
that's all part
ruining
of the
it for me.
digital loot pack, which I think is super awesome. It has
Almost
all four
cool.
of those skins, and rep the SPL Leviathans, show off with the new Lancelot skin. A lot of really cool stuff, along with a ton of cosmetics. I mean, you have an avatar, death stamp, loading screen, player title, and then some divine chest, treasure chest roll. You'll see all of that in the update notes, so don't feel like you have to remember it. So super excited for all of that. But that's not all. That's just the digital loot pack, which again,
just the
super
start.
important and super worth picking up. But
Barbie,
we
she
got more
does.
skins to showcase. Let's keep going. Next up, Odyssey.
It's gonna look
Soaring
nothing like the
Isles.
card art
Bringing
either.
more skins in. Crazy how long these Odyssey events go, right? Because I feel like it came out forever
You gotta
ago. And
realize,
if
I
you hit buy
want the
all,
cool
like,
skins
what feels
because
like
I
3
get
months
gems
ago,
from my
you're
so I
still
buy them.
getting
I don't have to
skins
pay for
from
them.
And the
So,
first
like,
of those
cool
that you're going to
skins are
get
dope.
with this
I'm gonna get them
update
all.
is Neon Pulse Freya.
Those are not cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's so incredible.
Wow, look at the colors on that one. That looks sick.
Super bright.
On the
Oh, man.
background too. Look at all that stuff going
Love her
on.
weapon.
Card art
Yeah.
background doesn't
I love the
matter.
blue
Like,
hair,
The
too.
sword is
Unless
just
it
looking
looks the
sick.
exact
I can't
fucking
wait
same in
to
the game.
use,
I don't
her
care
basics
about the
with that
fucking
one. I bet
city
it
in
looks
the
really
background.
nice when it's all lit up.
Oh, yeah, all
So
empowered
please
and stuff. I
in-game,
bet so.
the-
That's incredible.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Love the way the colors pop.
love the colors on
Yeah,
this
right?
one.
Yeah.
I mean, neon
Why
is
are the
definitely
titties
true
always
for
like
the skin.
busting out
Very aptly
in the
named.
card
Good
art?
job,
Neon
Mikey.
Pulse,
And you
Pulse
get in
Freya,
game
yeah,
and they're
of course.
perfectly covered up.
It's crazy how there's one stripe of yellow, and I feel like it's such a good accent piece.
Explain that to me.
It's so nice. The color combo really stands out.
It super does. Let's
This is
let's
a
listen
good
to the voice
skin.
line.
Don't get me wrong. This is a good skin.
Someone
least the way
sending
it-
a distress
it
signal
looks.
downtown. Looks like I'm right on time to light up the night. Another day, another baddie in need of getting their butt kicked. Let's make this quick.
Let's see it in
Neon
game.
Strike.
Neon Strike, indeed. So super cool. Again, part of the Odyssey. Now this next skin is one that has it's floated around as a meme. It's floated around in our hearts and minds
not
for
gonna
a
show it in
while.
game?
And it's finally
But they
part
showed us the
of the
emoji?
game. So excited to introduce Medusa.
Oh boy.
Another one of those where
Oh
you hear,
boy.
you hear it being pitched around and you're like, really? But I love the way
Wait,
this was
what?
executed, especially with the chibi.
Another
Medusa.
chibi
Yeah,
Medusa?
the chibi style was perfect for this.
Makes so
and
much sense.
The bread in the mouth is so good.
I think the bread is actually on
already
the
a
model
chibi
too,
skin.
if I'm
Why-
not
Oh, yeah, is that
mistaken,
right? I
right?
haven't seen this
So
one in game.
the geese are so cute. Oh, look at
Oh,
gosh,
yeah,
it
there it
is.
is. It's just
Look
the
at
one that has it.
Oh my god, it's adorable. Okay,
It's
so you
a
better make
chibi
sure not to
recolor.
let her hair anywhere near your
Instead of
bread.
snakes.
That's
Barracuda,
right.
we're
It's a
looking out
little
for you
like-
here, okay? So be careful when you're picking this skin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is kind of a
That's kind of
counterpick, actually, to
creepy
bun
to think
hats,
about.
'cause
That it's
it's
just a
so
head
cute.
with
The
a
back
really
end.
long neck.
Yeah,
but
so super adorable. Kind
It's
of
a recolor.
crazy how Medusa can go from some of the most horrifying skins in the game to like some of the most
It's
adorable.
a
Like, talk
recolor.
about
That's
a-
amazing.
Talk
or
about
a
a 360,
reskin,
or
we
yeah,
could
no,
say,
that's a
because there's
complete
more than
turnaround.
just
Never mind,
color.
shut up. Let's listen to a voice line. How about it?
Do you hear all that honking? Oh, wait, it's just my hair. Wake up, my goslings. We are going on an adventure. Call me Medusa.
Medusa. That is so good. And one thing
That was something else.
that is so worth pointing out with this skin is that it does have a VXG similar to the Jormungandr, the
Oh
Goose
my gosh.
Jormungandr, where she'll just honk.
Oh
So
my
if there's a
gosh.
if there's two goose on the same team or on opposing teams, you can
Honk
have a
at each
honk
other.
off. Yeah.
So you're saying we need to get a full 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna like, is this just the new skin
I
line?
mean,
Oh no.
I'm not saying we don't need a full team of
Sad, this
gooses,
is probably the best
so-
skin we've seen in this
All right,
patch.
so next
but-
up, we're moving away from the Odyssey, Soaring
All right.
Isles. We have another piece of stuff releasing in the main patch, which is November 15th, and that is the Hot Devil chest with Devilish Charm, Bear, and Somdi.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, he looks
I love this.
so
shoot.
cool. Look at that bottle too. Oh
Right.
my
Horns
God.
in his hair. Oh, it's the snake.
Can't wait to see what it
The
looks like
snake
in
has
game.
horn too.
That's true.
Oh, they match. What a stud! Like this is just one of those skins where like you look at it and you're like, oh no, he's hot. Like, there's just no two ways around it. Plus, I want whatever he's served. I mean, I know it's in a skull bottle,
man.
but
I love this.
oh, that looks so good.
I love it because you've got like some of that neon spirit like theme vibes as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
with the
that's
blue
so cool.
accent. Oh my gosh, you're right.
That's so cool. I really can't wait to see the effects in this one in game at some point too, because like I'm sure that they go crazy with that color scheme.
Oh, I bet they do. That's how our teams do. They're always pushing to the limit and going crazy with stuff like this. So super duper excited to see this one, and let's hear a voice line for it.
Fret no longer, my fellow felons. The handsome devil has arrived. Let the party begin. The night is still young, my friends. Let's see if we can't find any souls to liven this place up. You can call me the
The abilities
Baron.
could look dope. I mean, this skin's not bad. There's nothing wrong with this skin at all.
I don't know. That bassy voice is just incredible. So, and it fits the skin so well. Super awesome. So again, that's part of the hot devil chest. Moving on, we have a new battle pass with this update as well. So if you thought that there was a short on super cool things to look at, you'd be wrong. And we're diving into that battle pass now. The Cyber Tokyo battle pass with Tokyo Night Ares.
Oh,
That's so cool.
Okay.
I love the
Be sick.
projection off the shield too.
Ares
That's
has good
incredible.
skins though.
yeah. There's
like a lot of Ares
different,
skins are really cool
ways that
because they
we
go
could've
with
gone
the
skin, but I
same
love
themes
this
over and over
direction
again.
of the orange and the blue. Like those two contrasting colors really make the armor pop. And like you said, especially with those kanji that are on the shield, it's looking great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Plus the mask, it's such a
badass.
Yeah, it's such a classic like a classic style. Oh my gosh, look at it.
Nice.
Oh, the kanji it like flickers. That's so incredible.
He has some on his back as well. Look at that.
It does. That's so cool. Oh man, and I love too how, like you can see like especially on his legs there. At least that's where I'm seeing it. Like the pattern on his
I wonder
armor
if
too. Like the
they give them
I don't know what
buzzwords
call it
to
other than
use.
that. It looks really cool. It adds
They
a
say
good
the same
texture
stuff
to the
over and
metal.
over again.
This is sick.
Yeah,
The armor
he's so
pops.
detailed. I love all the little touches that were done to the shield, especially just making that look as cool and as techy as possible.
Yeah, and it looks like the sword is like kind of see-through too, which is super duper cool.
This is a good skin.
So let's hear the voice line for this.
Version 8.0 is approved for testing. If it succeeds, Tokyo and all of the world will crumble beneath my technological empire. These people follow no
Somehow they
path.
gotta stop with the
They
echo,
have
dude. They have
no
the robotic
leader.
like echo. He's like,
I will
it's
step
so
forward
it's in like
and
half
guide
of the
these hollow
voice
shells
pack.
to a state of true humanity. Ares, leader of the new world.
Well, what he plans to do is pretty clear. I don't think he kind of lets you know right up front. He's a guy who's proud of his goals.
It doesn't
So,
matter that it's a
super cool. So that's the
robot,
first
bro.
skin
It doesn't
in
have to have the
Cyber Tokyo
same
Battle
fucking
Pass.
like
Next up,
a robot speaking does not
Spectral
sound
Oni
like
Cleena.
that
Getting a cleaner
in
skin
real
out
life.
here.
So why does it sound like that in the game?
Oh
So
my
good.
gosh.
That is incredible.
In real life, they have robots that sound
Wow.
like people.
Pretty sweet.
It is. This was a really cool battle pass idea. Like I'm super in love with it. I love the highlighted like red, pink. I don't really know where to land with that, but
The
it's
colors
such a beautiful color.
are
Yeah, we've
way
been
too
talking about the
good in the
colors a
card
lot,
art. It's
right?
gonna be
Like-
dull in
Yeah.
game.
But this one's really sick. I mean, the neon, of course, is kind of carrying through this theme because we
I
are
like
kind of
the
in
way
that
this
new
card art looks,
age,
bro.
right?
The
where
arm
everything's
even
a
has,
little
like,
bit
detail in it. It's kinda
technological. So
dope.
of course it makes sense that everything's glowing bright and looking as sick as it does.
They went with the
Yeah.
gradient
So, super
red.
cool skin. Oh,
Wow.
That's so cool.
That
And
is
It's a
also
good
kind
skin.
of
The face is a
terrifying.
little
Oh
jacked
my
up, but it's a good
gosh.
skin.
Like knowing that this is Cleena, knowing that this is gonna be
It's
like
not-
doing some
the,
creepy
the
stuff. through
fingers have
walls,
no
like,
gradients
Oh,
to
and
them
not to
at
mention
all.
what her face looks like.
Yup,
yeah,
exactly.
with the transfer.
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
All the better reason to see it in game. So super cool. Make sure y'all check it out because yeah,
They're gonna make all the
you're
abilities
gonna
have
get
that color
jump
though,
scared
which
by
will be
this.
cool.
For sure. Let's hear the voice lines.
The
At
neon's
last,
gone, the gradient's
those
gone.
arrogant
The
fools
face
are
is jacked
within
up.
my grasp. Killing them will be the perfect revenge. If the intel provided to me is true, then tonight will be the dawn of a new age, a new empire under my immortal rule. Death is not the end. It is the beginning.
Death is the beginning. Super cool. I'm super excited about this skin. I'm gonna get jump scared by it. There's gonna be a face popping out of the wall. It's gonna be horrifying, and Yeah, that's the end of that. So next up in the Cyber Tokyo Battle Pass, we have Rogue Cyborg Izanami. Another one I love Izanami skins.
Oh my god, the
Oh,
angle of this
sweet.
art is sick.
Right?
Wow.
Like such an
Got the Mech in
action
the
shot.
background too, yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love the angle that we took for this one, and especially with the colors again. I mean, we keep going back to it because they're so dang good, but like...
We have a team that is just passionate about making sure that the colors are always popping. And yeah, that like...
Oh, they do be popping.
They do
oh
be,
my
though.
goodness.
That's a
Oh my
fucking
gosh,
good skin.
that's so awesome looking.
That's a really fucking
I guess
good
I'm just a
skin
fan of
in-game.
neon, right? Neon
I don't
signs,
care if it's a
neon
recolor.
colors,
The colors
like those always
actually
stand
make
out to
it
me. I mean,
so
I
the
literally was
fucking
like
clothes and
looking at
everything are
neon
really good.
signs on the internet like last night. So
Usually recolors
I'm
are
not
super
bluffing when I say I
boring.
love neon in general. So like this whole thing is just hitting for me. It's slapper after slapper, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, our team has been owning the direction for this battle pass. I think this has been crazy cool so far.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Let's hear the voice lines.
We will not be subject to any being's will. We control our own destinies. Tell me, what does free will mean to you? Those with it often take it for granted. Engaging lethal protocols.
That's also kind of horrifying a little bit.
Absolutely.
I guess that's why they use the word dystopian, right? So little scary, but also still cool and colorful. So, I mean, always a win there. One more skin to celebrate in the new Cyber Tokyo Battle Pass. Give it up for Mecha Empress Hera.
I wonder if her autos
We got
look
a
good.
Hera
in
skin
that
rolling
skin.
out.
Oh, sweet.
I remember
so
they
Oh
looked
my
like
gosh, look at
color.
Argus.
Yeah, the painting on Argus.
That is amazing.
Oh my
The
god.
theme for this patch is pretty cool.
Have we seen an Argus like this before? That's so cool.
Yeah, like that whole like dome look, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. That looks new to me.
I can't wait for that to chase people down.
I will be getting killed by this Argus, just
Yeah,
so we know.
I'm just trying to admire the art. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at her.
Oh, and the patterns.
I was just thinking that. I love all the detail work specifically that have been put on like the models for all of these skins.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I'm
Like,
such
there's
a
like
fan.
glitching going on too that I'm seeing. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
she's a
looking.
flow walker, so she's gotta have those emissives under her to make sure that you know that
They
she,
have to show the
she's too
abilities on
royal
this
to
one,
be
right?
touching the ground.
Yeah.
You
She'll
have a
traverse
good-looking
above
skin.
the dirt. Thank you.
You want to see
So,
the abilities.
I absolutely love it. And then yeah, like the little accents of pink throughout the blue are just super great to look
I
at.
love the little glitchy effects too. Those are neat.
That's what I'm saying. Let's hear the voice lines.
Becoming technologically advanced does not mean we must ignore our traditions. My city needs me. I must end this quickly and return. Hera, defender of the city.
I love that theme. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that is
I
really cool.
I love when the voice back in the lines kind of just like hit like a very specific note, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it seems like there's a stark contrast between her goal and Ares.
Ares, that's
goal,
exactly
so,
what I was
yeah.
thinking. You're like, are they antagonists? That's kind of sick.
They
Super
might be
cool.
fighting each other for dominance over Tokyo.
I
Who
know,
knows?
right?
That's awesome.
Are all these
All right,
things gonna be in
so
the second
obviously there's
patch,
a little
not
more
the
coming
main
out with
patch?
the November
Is that
on
why we're
November
not
15th,
seeing them in
the main
game?
update. But we'll be
'Cause they're
back to
not
that
ready?
in just a second. We're gonna jump ahead in time to the bonus update, which is going live November 29th. To sneak peek those before we get into what y'all are all know is coming right at the end. So we're gonna jump ahead again. Bonus update November 29th. This Odyssey coming back at you. Always bringing new stuff. Never stopping bringing new stuff. Starting with Winged Machina Nike. Winged?
Ooh.
Oh, sweet.
That's incredible.
The perspective on this one is so nice with the little person in the hand. That's sick.
Yeah, right. It's kind of got like that person just awakened them, and because it looks like they've been chilling there for a while. So it's like, oh, like, hey, what's up? Do I need to come out of my cave and go save the world or something? Or I absolutely.
I mean,
love
Nike's
that.
really good at that.
I
you know,
am
she's the
telling
goddess
you,
of victory. So.
That's true. Not a lot of not saving the world happening when she's called upon. That's probably why she's been chilling. It's kind of
Nice.
Ooh.
I love this. Oh,
a cool
the like
skin.
stone technology thing, because that's
I
we've
just don't
seen
like
in a
that we're
couple
hyping
skins,
up
and I
card
think it
art
always
because
fits.
obviously the card art artists
It
are
is
insane.
a really nice
Because the card art looks
contrast as
1,000 times
between,
better
like,
than half the skins in the game.
Weather and like stone materials, and then the new kind of
Oh, no, we did it
technological
right
energy
before the instance
coming
reset.
out from
It
their
was
skin.
hard.
I think that's such a cool like presentation that we've gone with for this, and I can't wait to be using this one.
Right. Another thing that I will never stop being excited about with stuff like this is just, and it's simple, but the moss on the wings and the moss highlighting some of the armor,
Right.
it helps display that age and maybe that they've been dormant for a while and chilling and waiting for their time. But it's just one of those little effects
The
that
FPS
I think
on
brings
the
the skin together
pan
for me.
camera
I
here
absolutely
is
love it.
so
So
low.
let's listen to the voice lines.
It hurts my eyes a little bit.
My creators are no more, but my task remains. Protect. Nike, guardian of civilization.
Nike doing is Nike do, and being a guardian, a victorious guardian at that. Well, I guess not really a guardian, but doesn't matter. Cool voice lines, cool skin, and the moss. I'm still just staring at it. Like, I know it's such a simple thing, but I don't know. Maybe I like moss. Next up, in the bonus update Odyssey Soaring Isles releases, we're going to have a Pele skin. We have Heatwave Pele.
Oh.
Okay.
Dang.
All right. Okay. Hello,
Beach
Pele.
Vacation Pele. What's up?
Yeah, she looks like she's having a great time. I wonder what she's got in that glass there. I'd like to see, maybe one for myself. I'm down.
I want the coconut being passed over. She's got a whole coconut drink being handed down. Like, that's a winning vacation right there. And appropriate, too, if you're living in the state of Georgia and it was like 80 this week for whatever reason.
Yeah, right?
So,
who wouldn't go for a nice cool beverage right now?
Right? I'm super feeling it. So, man, like, just this skin kind of has that, like, living your best life vibe to it, you know?
Oh, and she is.
Got the shades, too. Too cool for the battleground.
And those like water daggers, those are awesome. That's like kind of opposite of how she normally is, right? She's got the lava normally, but now we've got like that crystallized water going on. That's so sick.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is super cool. Again, I mean, I guess I always say this. I absolutely love it. Like, it's like a go-to catchphrase, but it's just one of those things where I'm a fan of this stuff. You know, the process behind it. Because I've sat down and talked to people who make skins and stuff, and it's such an incredible process to go through, like first sketches to final creation. That like when you know the process, it's so hard not to be a fan of things, even when they scare you.
Well, this skin's not very scary.
This one isn't. I'm thinking of Kleena. But yeah, let's hear the voice lines.
Oh my gosh, the sun is shining and it is such a beautiful day. Finally, time for some me time. Time to make a splash.
Time to make a splash. Absolutely love it. Super excited about it. And again, that will be coming with the Odyssey Soaring Isles November 29th in the bonus update for 9.11. So we have one more skin coming in the bonus update, and this one is actually part of the Bit Fortune chest. And that's Bit Fortune.
Her legs are gigantic compared to her upper body. Holy shit.
Look
I
at
just
him.
realized that.
He's taken down there. It looks like a kaiju fight almost. Is that a city in the foreground?
It kind of looks like it, yeah. Well, unfortunate for the block below the kaiju, but better that the kaiju be, you know, smashed there than continue to rampage. So.
Yeah, surely Ganesh is protecting someone there.
Oh, yeah. When aren't they, honestly? So I love... super cool.
Whoever draws
oranges
these
appear in these technological skins.
literally makes us see what the game could be like most of the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he does have cute
I love this line so much. It's kind of like video game.
This actually might be my favorite Ganesh skin.
Part of a video game.
I like Ganesh.
I think it's a really, really fun theme to explore, and I love the way that we've gone with this one with the bright oranges. And
that
like
dagger
said, the
looks
eyes are
better
kind
than
of
the other
really
gradient skin
on, some
that
of those
we saw.
skins from before.
Yeah.
I also love the ears, the way they did those.
Like the colors on this are better than the one with the crazy card.
Yeah, a little bit. Super duper cool. I love this line of skins, like you said. Always incredible.
Yeah, it's creepy, but it adds to it. It gives it character, right?
All right, guys. This level's looking pretty easy. Are you sure we're not just gonna go AFK halfway through? I'm so hyped for this.
You know the little kid's toy you talk into and it makes you sound like that?
Get behind me and follow my lead.
Can do, will do, and
I wonder
yeah,
if
it's
they
gonna
use
be
that
good.
to record the voice.
Another
lines.
super cool skin. Super excited about it. Man, I can't even talk, right? And this will be the last skin coming out with the bonus update. So we've been through a lot of cool stuff. We're super excited about all that we've shown off. I think it's all been incredible, but we're not done. Y'all know we are.
There's a reason why we're wearing these hats.
There's not. It was a mistake. We all just wore them. We all just wore them here.
Just came into the studio independently wearing them.
Yeah, Lermy walked in and we were like, you too? So it was crazy. But no, you know what's coming up next. And if you don't, here's a trailer to showcase it for you. See you in a sec.
Rated T for teen.
dragons.
Now this has a killer spec.
Hotter than the flames of Zamorak.
I know, therefore I am.
I'm the PKer, you're the loot.
The skins are good to me, but the god choices are what I don't like.
It's just, we've been holding on to this forever. This has been like a lot of
yeah.
our crossovers, like everything we do. You know, it happens early. We work on it for a long time, and we dump passion into it. And this has definitely been one that I know that all of us on the set here have been really involved in and really sharing opinions in. I mean, sitting in on meetings, talking about what do we want in game, how should it look, working with the people from Jagex who have all been incredible. I've not had a bad conversation with anybody.
These are
going to
be expensive skins, bro. There's no
we've just
way.
been looking forward to this for so long, and the fact that we get to sit here and talk about it now is blowing my mind. So I have like a 15-year-old account that I like brushed off and was going through because I made a new account on Old School recently, and I could talk forever. We're gonna move on and talk about stuff. You don't want to hear these stories, so. We have a RuneScape event in here, which we're super excited about. Like events of the past, this is when we're going to get to go in, get skins, and unlock rewards for getting these skins. So all of the skins have kind of a special mechanic that we'll get into in a little bit that I'm excited to tell you about. But that mechanic is free to play. It works only with the skins from this event, but it'll make more sense when we get into it. But it's super cool. There's also a ton of cosmetics. We have music, and it's all as RuneScape themed as we could possibly make it. So the full description of the event is also on the update notes, so make sure you're checking that out. But it's absolutely incredible. There's a loading frame. There's a music theme which pulls some of your favorite tracks from the RuneScape Legacy. Just those tracks that when they come on, you're immediately taken back to like, oh my gosh, like I remember that. Like I've nostalgia tripped so many times that I think I broke my leg. It was incredible. So we have cool death. I mean, I could go over all the cosmetics in detail, but it's better for you to see them. So there is also, and I think you know the most about this, Clumsy, so I'll let you talk about it, but there's also a text system that we're playing with too with this, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, when we were working on the RuneScape event, there were so many of us that have played RuneScape from back in the day that just like, I know you were saying you have an account, I have like a max level on one of my characters as well.
Yep.
And just, there were so many ideas that we wanted to just throw in there, whether it's the cosmetics or just like new features and stuff, and you alluded to one of them previously that we're going to get to in a second. It's like a lot of preamble say. We wanted to just keep throwing things at this. We wanted to really just make players who have played RuneScape before or who don't know just like a little glimpse of to what it was like, or a little bring you back those days. So I think the feature that you're getting to, which is here, we added a little text feature that you can do in RuneScape itself. So whether it's VGS or actually if you're going to use the in-game text commands, there's a couple of different iterations of like color and effect. So you can type like cyan, colon, like a text effect like glow, colon, then like write a letter out or like make them kind of jump and kind of wave in ways or scroll in ways that you'd see in RuneScape itself. So we brought that into Smite just as a fun +1.
Yeah, it's one of the, it's incredible. It's one of those that we didn't have to do it, like this is just, but we were so passionate working through this, and that's such a core memory of the experience of RuneScape that we just had to, like the teams were like, oh yeah, we're going to make it happen.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
Then let's do it.
So, and the instructions for how to do that are again on the patch notes, so you'll be able to do that when the game goes live, but if you were ever haggling for armor or food or something in the GE, then you'll be familiar with what we're talking about.
Trading to trim your armor.
Oh yeah, all that classic stuff. So that's super cool, but we could talk about these things all day.
We can shit talk in colors,
bro. We want to show you all the skins
fucked.
too, and we're gonna start off with Blessed Dragonhide Neath. So let's check that out.
Ooh.
So good.
That's gonna be
got
good.
the D'hide rocking, got the bow.
Nice.
Yeah, so
inside.
when we were discussing what skins we wanted to do into the game, it was very core that we wanted to do a couple of different iconic things, which we're gonna show you. But we also wanted to get not just specific characters from the game, which we do have a little bit here, but we wanted to get the different armor styles, right?
Yeah.
Because RuneScape being like an RPG, it doesn't really have a holy trinity, but it's got that trinity of damage values of your armor classes, right? So between leather, like we see here, and the kind of the hunter aesthetic versus the cloth from the mage versus the armor-based tankier kind of side. we wanted to represent all of those kinds of game styles. So Neith here is going to be that traditional hunter. Her personality style in the voice that you're going to see in the voice script is a little bit more of that PvP-oriented character, and she's wearing that blessed dragonhide armor.
Yeah, I was going to say,
her magic
maybe it's just because I don't give a fuck about
cool.
RuneScape
and,
as a game. But
again, we also worked really hard to kind of emulate the visual style.
Not a skin I would usually want.
Because again, the point we were having a nostalgia trip the whole time. There were so many people. There were conversations that branched off of our work on this that were just reminiscing about kind of the experience of it. So we wanted to pay homage in all the ways we can, and matching the aesthetics there, and also with the audio quality, which our audio teams told us, they use a lot of sounds that Jagex provided, as well as making all the sounds they used match thematically to what these skins look like.
Bro,
and
Chrono 64 doesn't even look like,
it's I mean, so much work went into this, but let's hear the voice.
Don't disrespect Chrono 64, right?
I've taken down gods before. I expect a ton of great loot. If this doesn't work out, it might be time to farm that dark bow. A new PvP arena. Nice.
Nice.
Nice. So obviously the PvP-centric character here, but yeah, just super cool. And again, another thing that I want to highlight is you'll see some characters coming up that are actually
from this might be the
NPCs
color
in
chat.
the game, some of the notable ones. But along with representing the armor styles, we also wanted to make sure that, a huge element of RuneScape are the players. Like, it's not just notable NPCs.
Right, exactly.
So it's cool that we're representing the armor types, but also having some characters in here that you can hopefully be like, oh my gosh, like I ran that armor set for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps that feeling of like, I guess I'm going to say nostalgia again. You're going to count how many times I say that, and then I'll tweet I'm sorry that many times. But
I think that's a really good point, though, because we have 3 kind of characters in the RuneScape skins that are kind of characters in the game, and then the Neith and the Bologna are more
so
the
heavily
player characters,
carried by nostalgia.
Yourself as with
if you don't have RuneScape
super
nostalgia,
cool. And yeah, just so excited about it, and excited to move on to the next skin that we're going to showcase.
I have no RuneScape nostalgia.
King Black Dragon Cerberus.
Oh,
Look at our boy.
I love this art. The way the fire is stylized too is so iconic.
It's so good.
Yeah, it has all those sharp edges and stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, and as we're gonna see with these skins, whether it's the modeling team and these models or like the art team and effects, kind of doing our best to portray those old school graphics, not just in the model but in the effects too. So shout out I know to Chris who worked on this one, and the entire art teams, sound effects like you talked about too. We really wanted to hit the mark for this kind of old school RuneScape feeling, but kind of brought into Smite.
This has no effect on you.
So
honestly.
it's just. Again, the amount of love and passion that our teams pour into this kind of stuff.
What the fuck are we staring at the screen for?
And the cool thing is,
in-game
like I mentioned earlier, we worked very, very close with Jagex on making sure that we would pass them something, they would give us feedback, we'd go back and forth, and it was always such so good. But it was always such an experience of pure joy. It was never
honestly, that might be the
there was
best
never any
Cerberus
argumentativeness over what things should look like. It was 2 groups of extremely excited people working hand in hand to make something we could all be proud of.
This one might be the best Cerberus.
It just shows in every one of these. It reflects that style.
This is just such a dope look for Cerberus too. Like even on top of all the nostalgia,
chonky,
turning him into this 3-headed dragon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And like you said, you can see like the fire effects too. How they're reminiscent.
Survey Slot already have it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a RuneScape players, like look at the little glow that's coming out of his muzzles. That's like kind of like the alk glow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's super reminiscent.
All right, let's hear the voice lines.
Must we continue this mindless and endless squabbling? Run along now, Bob. It seems there is to be another battle. We are the King of Dragons.
Is that what he sounds
like?
in RuneScape?
He's talking to Bob because the KBD in game is very close friends with Bob the cat.
Does he have a voice?
And that's one of the things with the KBD in general is that he may be a boss monster, but he knows he's going to keep dying. He kind of just doesn't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. He's done with that. I didn't
notice he has
if you're going to fight him,
he's Cape Tuesday. Everything has a cape in the game.
You back.
Oh yeah.
And you'll even notice there that he is wearing a cape as well.
I want a cape. I want a fucking cape.
So another cool thing to shout out that can be said about all of these skins, and it's super important, is these are crossover skins, right? We pour our hearts into these. All of these have VXGs that are very, very singular. They're all they all represent a feature from RuneScape or a part of that skin that I think anybody who's played the game would recognize.
Carry your ass in every game we played.
As you get into the game, for those that we can't show you today, make sure you check those out. But we're going to continue showing you new things. Next up, Gnome Child Vamana.
Show it to me. This guy's already being memes across the boards everywhere that I'm seeing. So we were discussing, what characters should we do? right? And we were open to a lot of discussions. I'm not going to go and say any of the alternatives that are there because who knows, right? But everyone was kind of on the same board of like, how do we not? Like, can we do this and not do Gnome Child? Like, and then there was some conversation. He's not really in the game. He kind of is. They added him in some special events and stuff like that. But he's just so iconic. And Jagex as well is like, are we going to do this? It's like, yeah, absolutely, we're going to do it, and we're going to go all out. So we've got the Gnome Child. He's Vamana. You can only imagine what he's going to look like in the ultimate. Yep. And he's got a pickaxe because he's got a lot of different themes going on. He's even got his fancy boots. You can see over there the fancy shoes. He is going to be kind of extraordinary.
Yeah, shout out to, for one thing, with the fancy boots and that whole cave and barbarian village. Shout out for teaching me as a young kid the importance of password protection and like bank pins and stuff. Like I was like a child and I was like, bank pin, good idea. So it's just shout out to that, like reminiscent even there. But
so yeah, we talked about Neith kind of being the PvP skin. We talked about King Black Dragon. He's obviously the monster. Gnome Child is a little bit esoteric. He's a little bit all around the place, but we also wanted to keep him a little bit of a theme of like he's got a little bit of skilling going on. The other characters may not have like the skilling aspect. We have some more stuff to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But he's kind of just there. He's got his pickaxe. He's got a little hatch in one of his abilities too. He's got a little bit of water going on. He's one of his gimmicks is he's just an adventurer.
Yeah, he's just all over the place. He's just living life to the fullest. So let's hear a voice. Let's hear the voice lines.
Have you ever tried making wine out of raisins? We can walk, run, row, or fly, but never lose sight of the reason for the journey, or miss the chance to see a rainbow on the way. Just a gnome child, just like all the others.
Yeah, this is an absolute blast recording this one. Yeah, I'm not going to give things away, but we heard some voice lines.
Yeah, we stream in later. Paragon comes
maybe
up
a little bit more cheerful. He's all around the place.
He's all around the place. And this, again, with how much this is, I mean, I've seen memes everywhere. It was giving me life after the trailer launch, seeing memes pop up. We have to go in game with this one. We can't.
Oh,
not.
nice.
So
we are.
Let's get in there and see
That's so
Gnome
awesome.
Child Vamana in the game.
There he is.
Yeah, there you go. He's using that pickaxe and he's charging forwards. Ooh, is that what does he have on his back right here?
I don't know. It doesn't look like the blue cape he was wearing
Does that
before.
look like maybe a fire cape?
It might.
And it gets big with him,
Oh,
too.
he's slam. He's clean.
Look at him. The effects are so great.
He's clean. This is a clean skin. I like this. The cape kind of makes
gosh,
it and
that's
carries
so
the skin
awesome.
super hard, and I don't even know shit about the capes.
What an incredible skin. And now, there it is.
There, so we got the VGS. So yeah, he's going to go there. He's using that pickaxe to mine away.
Yeah. So, if you're having a slow lane, get your farm, go back under tower, and, you can
right up next to the wall. What is he getting over there?
You
That's
rock.
awesome. Oh, there you go.
Yes.
You can see the wavy text. That happens with the VGS. It's also there for you as the text commands.
Yeah, so you can type it and just general chat. You can also use the VGS like
oh,
you just
look at that
said,
scrolling. So the VGS, I believe, it'll randomize between the different effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see there. And I think if you use his 3, so that one is actually he's flinging out a hatchet.
His abilities are cleaner than any of the other
So you can really get your skilling in on this.
He actually has the best looking Vamana abilities.
It's so good.
He's big.
Oh my gosh.
True. All right, now do the backing animation while he's small. Let's see that. I think if I.
Oh, we're doing it. There you go. So you've seen that, in the trailer a little bit. For RuneScape fans, you know exactly where he's going. He's home teleporting away.
Yeah, and that backing animation is true through all the skins. So
Yeah.
we thought that was the most fitting, and we thought it would be in line with kind of the humorous aspect of this to make sure that even characters like King Black Dragon have that same backing
exactly.
animation.
We talked about this. Like, if we're doing this for all characters, should the KBD also do it? It's like, hell yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, why would he not? It's incredible. So super cool skin. I love it, dude. Like I said, you're literally gonna see me. Like if I'm getting pressured in the lane, I'm gonna get my farm. I'm gonna sit under a tower, and I'm gonna level mining. Because why not? So great way to do it. So next up, we continue down the trail of amazing RuneScape skins. Moving on to Wise Old Man Merlin.
I am such a big fan of this skin and just like the character in the game. He's actually got so much going on in his story. It's really awesome to kind of delve into. And so we talked about the leather. We talked about the armor. Wise Old Man Merlin. He's got the magic vibes.
Yeah.
He's gonna be our magician.
He's our magician, and he also wore the same hat as us today, so that's embarrassing.
Yeah, he's one of the characters that you see in game. He's an NPC, and you go and find him in Draenor. This is what he looks like. We hope we did our best.
It's so good.
to bring him into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, again, an incredible effort. I love the way his glasses look and like how big and bulky they are. again, our team poured so much effort into this.
Paragon comes out tonight at 9.
It turned out so beautiful too. Like just even looking at the way that the light reflects off of those polygons, right? Look at those polygons.
Those polygons.
You can count how many there are.
Oh my gosh, and they're beautiful. It's worth counting all of them. Let's hear the voice lines for this.
If I were to perish, do build me a proper mahogany coffin. I wouldn't be seen dead in a cheap oak or teak one. Ugh. This is a dangerous place. Just as the wilderness was tainted by Zamorak, the presence of the gods have corrupted this land.
It's the last closed beta test.
Dionysus is the name. What? No, not the god of wine.
Yep, if you didn't know that Dionysus is actually the real name for the wise old man Merlin. In fact, I think the very first line there was directly from one of the scripts in like one of his quest logs. In fact, if you look at the scripts in general for all of these skins, you're going to find Easter eggs all around the place that come straight from RuneScape itself.
I mean, if you look at the tweet that should be going live around now that features this card art, it might also be a direct quote because super big fan of all of that. So, like with the last skin, I just love all of these so much that I want to go in game for all of them. So we're going to go in game for Merlin too. Let's check him out.
Yes.
Yeah, as you know, Merlin in Smite, he's kind of the master of 3 different schools of magic. So we kind of gave that aspect to wise old man Merlin. It makes complete sense.
The fire looks so good.
That one.
See, I love
old
just watching
school like graphics actually look really cool.
Took a lot of
on
references
skins,
from RuneScape.
They're
Obviously,
easier to see.
You're going to see a lot of similar things. Even like
I feel like visually they're just easier to see, and so they look better.
It's so good too. Plus, I mean,
Strains
y'all heard
that
some of the voice
old
lines.
fucking
I was able to get in and hear some of the voice lines of this one, just more casting abilities.
Graphics can look
I mean,
better.
this stands true for all of the skins, but I'm gonna say
I like the
it
Vamana
anyway.
skin too.
They're all incredible. So.
There you go. You can see him. We're just like, what's he going to do for his VGS? He's going to just use different types of magic. So he might be high alching. He might be doing something else here and there.
So love the high alching. It's so good.
And what's that cape on his back as well? I mean, that's different from the one that we saw before, right?
That does. Weird. I guess they just have different capes maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I love it. All of the effects are cool. I think one of my
capes
favorite
earned from an adventure or something
dragon
in game?
flame, because that just looks, the fire effect looks so good, and it's just so much of what I remember. But if I had to choose another one, I think it's the air bolt. Oh, the fire beam looks so good too. But the air bolt, because the projectile just looks so true to the projectiles that I think of when I think of RuneScape, especially old school. When you're standing there firing.
There he is backing. Look at that.
It's so good. Oh my gosh! So just another grand slam with all of the effects, and again, they went out of their way with all of these to really make sure that their arcane sounds and for Merlin specifically, the arcane sounds really came through well without sounding too dark or horrifying or anything. Because Merlin's not a horror guy, but when it comes to using art or void stuff.
That's
or
something
that's
stuff, true about competitive games and online games like this.
They're like, hey man,
crazy graphics aren't actually better for the game.
Sure those sound effects came across.
This
the way
looks good. These graphics are fucking
they
dog
use
ass.
dark analog synth sounds and all kinds of stuff. So.
And one more note while we're here, which is a little bit on a tangent, but I know there's a lot of people, from the RuneScape forums or from Smite also asking like, hey, Merlin's there, but there's
they're dog ass because it's the old ass fucking game.
Why do you choose Wise Old Man?
And it's based
and one of the reasons is just like, while there are named characters in RuneScape that might even be use the same names as we have in Smite, it made a lot more sense for us to kind of choose characters that are a lot more iconic, right?
Yeah.
No one really wants to see, the King Arthur and Merlin of RuneScape. Maybe that's like 10th or 20th down the line.
Right.
We wanted to do things that made a lot more sense or a lot more iconic.
Yeah, some of those experiences that whether you put 4,000 hours into RuneScape or whether you played it for a week or so, just characters that you ran into and were a part of your experience regardless of where you're from. And of course, we tried to include things that were a little more nuanced, a little more late game, but we wanted to make sure that fans of all durations, I guess, could look at this and just fall in love with it. So I agree that I think we made the right choices on those. But hey, y'all guys shout out how much you love this, and we'll do everything we can to keep making them in the future. We love doing that. Yay. So we couldn't continue forward without seeing the last skin in the RuneScape event, and it's one that I am very personally excited about. We have Rune Armor Bologna.
There we go.
Look at that.
So
it's
this
good.
is so this is another one of those kind of like player characters. In fact, Bologna, like the voice lines and everything there, it's going to be just the classic adventure. The classic, like, you are a player, you want to just do a little bit of everything, a little bit of bossing, a little bit of skilling. You've leveled up and you've got your rune armor. You've got, in fact, it's Bologna, right? So you're going to see a lot of different types of weaponry, which we're going to see in a minute. You've got your glory ammy and stuff like that. Shout outs again to all the different teams that helped make this possible. And I also want to do a special shout out to Kevin Friddle to help with all the voice scripts. He helped a ton to make sure that we can get some really fun RuneScape references in there.
Look at that. You got the God Sword.
Yeah, I was going to say, what weapons did you have? Well, we saw, I know there's some discussion on this. It is the Granite Maul.
It is
obviously,
the
is our
Granite
hammer.
Maul.
I feel like these old,
We've got the God Sword right there.
fucking graphic weapons better than Bellona's
the
regular
hilts are
weapons.
a little bit more, generic for all of them because that's just something to make to help with Bellona.
I'm definitely playing.
She's got her trimmed rune armor too with the full helm.
She happened to find the one person who was actually trimming rune armor, so you got lucked out on that one for sure. But let's go ahead and hear the voice lines real quick.
What's the plan for today? A little fishing, maybe some smithing, or how about we hunt down some gods? Time to log into my favorite game. Wait, is this RS4? The adventure never ends.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. I love the memes too. That wait, is this RS4? Like another thing. I'm gonna keep praising Jagex. Maybe it's because I've played this game so much, but they were all about working with us to get some of these funny things in there. Every time we proposed something, if they didn't immediately agree with it, it's because they were like being like, or we could go further and have more fun.
Without a doubt.
We definitely worked a lot to include a lot of that. So we just got to go in game at least one more time. So
we got to do it.
Let's see Bellona in game. Let's do it.
Talked about several weapons. She's also. We're gonna see some more.
Is that
she's got her rune kite shield.
The trimmed rune kite shield.
She's got the Granite Maul. Of course, she's gonna. You can't take Bellona and not have the Abbey Whip.
Oh yeah, Abbey Whip was a guarantee. And then we got the RS banner. It's so good. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. How are you not gonna have an in-game RuneScape dance, right? Like. There was a talk about we just do this for all of them. We wanted to play things up a little bit. Oh my gosh, seeing this in game is
that was some of the harsher discussion that we had. I say harsh, right?
I like this
some
skin.
of the most critical was
I like all three of these skins in game so
animations
far.
with so many different
even though maybe the graphics are kind of
those
blah on the
animations.
these skins.
It was so hard to narrow
kinda
down the ones that we wanted to use for each character because there was such a vast amount of things that we could have. We were like, oh, we should do fishing, we should do mining, we should do smithing. It was just. It felt like we had an endless list, and whittling it down to 5 was definitely a task.
Even for the cosmetics, you might see a couple things there that you're happy with. In fact, hopefully all of them.
Is that
but there's a lot more that we wanted to do. And, who knows?
Right? On it?
Yeah, at literally every discussion, there was so much passion brought in about we want to do this, we want to do that, and we couldn't do them all right away. That's just not how it works. None of us have the free time to do every single thing we want. So we really whittled down to what we thought would be the best first running. But hey, again, it's up to y'all how much you like this, and if you like it a lot, we're gonna keep going with it. So that's the hope anyway. So super excited about this one. But
Me too. That's cape, by the way.
I know, another cape.
I think we're gonna be chatting about that.
Maybe right now.
Maybe right now.
Let's do it right now. So y'all saw some different capes in there, right? Capes are a big part of RuneScape. You got to get those level 99s. You got to complete those hard quests.
Yep.
So we thought that a RuneScape crossover would not really be complete without the aspect of capes or the aspect of a little bit of grinding. Because again, that's what RuneScape is known for. The people who play RuneScape ought to have at least some level of degree in math. Because there'll be people who are like, well, let's see. To farm the way I need to, I'm going to need 4 million experience in cooking, and if I break that down into lobster,
I've
it's
literally
crazy.
never
I have
played
a cousin
RuneScape
who
before.
plays this game endlessly, and that is what it's like hearing when he talks about this to me, and it's incredible.
You want to be efficient.
Yeah, you want to be efficient, and it's so cool. So we wanted to add all of those elements in that we could because we already had the text, we already have the skins, we have some references. So we want to show you now the event page and show you that we have capes and quests and grinding hella. So this is what the menu is going to look like. I mean, our UI people did an incredible
Look at
job.
the gnome in the background.
You got gnome child's face.
Oh my gosh.
He's just hanging out.
But you're going to have this tab here, which for all the different capes, there are 69.
Nice.
And you can nice.
Honestly,
and you can wear
this is
them
pretty
on
cool.
every single RuneScape character.
Why doesn't
so all
Iris
5
do
of
this
the
with other
skins coming
skins?
in this crossover?
Why haven't we had something like this in the game before?
Including the King Black Dragon.
This
and
is
yeah,
a
you have to grind to
massive
unlock all of
concept
these. There
for
are
the
some that
game
come
of
with the skin
skins.
purchases. So if you have 2 of the skins, you'll get a special cape. If you have all of the skins, you'll get a special cape. And then each of them starts with their own colored cape, I believe. But
exactly.
You can grind, and you can grind on any god, let it be known. But you can grind to earn every single one of these. Obviously, there are some that say, get 1,000 kills as Neath or something, and you have to play Neath. But for all of the others, grind them however you want, and then equip them on your RuneScape characters to flex, because, I mean, again, it's just absolute. We added 69 nice capes There's so many of them.
Yeah. So to be clear, when you purchase some of these skins, you'll get the flat colored capes by themselves.
I'm assuming
there's
this RuneScape
very
shit will be
special
in the
capes
game
like we saw
forever.
on the Merlin with the anniversary cape, or I think Vamana's got like the cabbage cape, which these are all capes from RuneScape itself.
Yeah.
Some of them from OSRs. Those are for doing very special activities with those gods and skins specifically, but then you've just got the six.
Whatever's the hardest to
but
get,
several
I'm going
of the
for.
skilling capes, all the skilling capes in OSRS as well as RS3, which are going to have you just do a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
They might have you
said
just walking around for
what's the
agility
most
and
flex skin in
traveling.
the
They might
game? They had
have
to
you
have put it on the
right,
hardest
so you
one,
can
right?
see, for the Blessed Dragonite Need skin, you can get the Obsidian cape specifically.
Yeah.
But for the skilling capes, you've got the basic versions for doing all sorts of stuff. And we wanted to really be careful because obviously there's a whole bunch of grinding involved.
Fire cape?
These cape skins,
what
like
was
you
the
said,
fire
these
cape
are only
challenge?
going to be able to be used on the 5 RuneScape skins.
Yeah.
And you can only wear one at a time. So I just wanted to like preempt and let you guys know that we understand that there is a lot of grinding involved for a lot of these capes. We are not expecting you to get like all of these unless you are, you really want to, and that's fine. That's badass. In fact, we might be encouraging it we'll see what we can do out there. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of content, a little bit of contest. You can see Fire Cape is kind of another one-off
Fire Giants, baby!
killing Fire Giants.
No more
But
ending
yeah,
games.
just a lot of them are going to be kind of gained over time in a short period of time. A lot of them are going to be gained, especially with the Master Capes. They're all 3x the difficulty of the normal
insane.
skilling
yeah.
capes.
100
So
Fire
that was done
Giants?
very purposefully. Those ones are going to take even longer, months, if not more than that. But the thing also to remember is that if you want to grind specifically for one cape, it is going to be a lot faster. So just keep that in mind. We're not expected to do all of them at the same time. And also, if you are going for one or two capes, you're most likely making progress towards several capes at the same time. So they may look like some crazy values, but hey, it's a RuneScape crossover event.
It's gonna take a little while,
grinding
boys.
is kind of at the heart of it.
Yeah, like Harrison said earlier, I mean, I can't wait to see where the mathematicians of the Smite community come in and figure out exactly like what's the most effective way to grind out these capes. I can't wait to see what you guys
Give me
come
that
up
cabbage
with.
cape. I saw that as Vamana somewhere.
It's so good. So again, we really
It's
pour our
crazy.
hearts
Every
into this. And you can see
30-minute
here, too, in the
game is
bottom
only
corner, we
4
have music
Fire
tracks
Giants.
playing. They have the RuneScape main original theme. We have Inferno, and then
Right?
of course Sea
No.
Shanty.
In 30 minutes, you can do
there-
5, right?
Again, we took
10,
everything
15,
that we could
20,
that we
25.
thought
Yeah, you can do
kind of
5.
symbolize that
Every 30-minute
experience
game,
and
you
that
could
memory.
technically do
Yeah,
5 Fire Giants.
So we're just, I don't know. I'm beaming with pride over here for what I get to show off of all of the incredible work that every team that had any part of any of this put in.
Literally about to just start running
special shout out
Fire
to the modeling
Giant
and tech art
burning
team.
teams like Anubis,
A lot of this
ESET,
tech is really new
fucking
for all the capes and getting the icons in.
triple
That
auto
definitely
attack
wasn't
god.
easy. And a massive shout out to the programming team. All these different goals and quests, like that's a lot of extra
that's a
work we
ton.
needed to
It certainly
put
was.
in. And QA as well, especially. I know Lermy was
Yeah.
working with them specifically to just make sure that we get these all feeling good.
Huge shout out to the team. I know it took them quite a long time to go through and confirm that these
yeah.
worked.
Right.
I remember seeing a thread pop up a long time ago where they said, all right, what capes are we doing? And somebody asked, can we do all of them? So
How
Sea
many
Shanty
capes?
2 is
All.
playing right now, by the way, so I just can't get over that. But yeah, but somebody said, can we do all of them? And it just, they were like, yeah, we'll make it work. Don't worry about it. And they did. And they came through and they made it incredible. And I think it really, it showcases the heart of RuneScape in a lot of ways. So if you haven't played RuneScape, it's something that you should definitely try out, especially in the next
100 God kills
6
isn't
days
that
as we wait
crazy.
for the update, which is literally next week. So be ready for that.
Crazy.
But it's such an incredible game and such an incredible piece of gaming history, I think, that still is active and vibrant today.
Yeah,
so,
it's still one of the top MMOs.
yeah,
of all
definitely.
time.
I mean, the game is incredible. So, and we were honored to be able to work with them. And so you have seen the RuneScape crossover. We've been tantalized by the idea of sharing this information. So this has been
think
something
these
that
quests are
I've
available
been a pleasure
forever.
talking with y'all about.
I
'cause
think
know
this
that
is
y'all
something
were
that's
up
just
there on the
attached
forefront
to
of
the
making this
skins
stuff
being in the
happen
game
too.
forever.
So big shout out to all of the teams who worked on this, and super, super excited to see it live literally next week or Friday in PTS if you want to hop into PTS and check it out.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I'm going to do PTS.
either way, again, it's going to be huge. We're excited to
I think
see
this is
y'all.
something we wait
and there's
for
so
live.
much more than just the RuneScape stuff too. We saw a new battle pass. We saw the digital loot pack. We're on the road to Worlds. We have all that crazy balance.
Yeah, I was gonna say all that balance.
Yeah,
That was a lot
that
of
was
balance.
no small amount of balance. So check out the patch notes for all the information we went over if you missed anything. And other than that, I look forward to seeing y'all grinding for capes. And if you get a cape, tweet it at me on Twitter, please. Like I want to know who's getting capes because that's such an incredible thing. So either way, thank y'all so much for tuning in for the show. And I guess we'll see y'all on the battleground. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.